Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here, based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me, absolutely happened to me. For years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Welch's knows some things make zero sense, like why the algorithm knows your music tastes better than you do. But zero sugar and full flavor? We made that make sense with new Welch's Zero Sugar. All that passion fruit or tropical punch goodness and none of the sugar. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
This week, in Marion, Indiana, what looks like a strange and tragic accident turns out to be a cold-blooded plot using a very unique murder weapon and proved by the killer's own video footage. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you so much for joining us today on another crazy episode of Small Town Murder. It's been wild stuff lately.
Yeah,
Hope you've been enjoying it. We have another crazy one today for you. Before we get to that, shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets now. First of all, for the live show, regular live shows, we're talking about Minneapolis State Theater, September 20th.
Almost sold out.
Almost. It's getting there, and it will be our biggest Shut Up and Give Me Murder of all time, so please get there. The next night, Milwaukee, we have released a few tickets for that, so
get after
there's some more tickets now, so get in there and get them before they're gone. Also, all the shows are going very fast, so get them. There's a couple sold out already. Bunch of them, actually. So get in there, shutupandgivememurder.com. And while you're there, also get tickets for the virtual live show, Halloween. We can't wait. When you get the show, you can watch it that night or whenever you want. You can have it for a week afterwards to do whatever you want with it.
Right.
Lots of fun. We're going to be in costumes, Halloween-themed. spooky, weird murder. Can't wait for it. Going to be so much fun. shutupandgivememurder.com. Also, if you can't get enough, if you listen to this and you listen to Express, Small Town Murder Express, you listen to Your Stupid Opinions, of course, and you're even listening to Crime and Sports, and you're like, I need more. I think we got you covered. Patreon, patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of the bonus material.
So much.
Yeah. Anybody $5 a month or above, you are going to get an entire back catalog, hundreds of bonus episodes immediately upon subscription. New ones every other week, one crime and sports, one small town murder, and you get it all, baby.
Get it all.
That's right. This week, what you're going to get for crime and sports, you don't need to be a sports fan for this. Theme park disasters are back, baby. Oh, those are so much fun. And then for Small Town Murder, another one that's back, long awaited. The Prisoner Dating Game is here.
Go.
All Violent Felon edition. Jimmy's going to pick one of each of one young man, one young lady that has nothing in common except that they're all incarcerated for violent crimes. And Jimmy's going to
big mistakes.
Yeah, you're going to pick based on just their dating profile, and then you get to find out who they are, and more importantly, what they did. So much fun. Patreon.com/crime in sports. So do that, and you get a shout out at the end of the show where Jimmy will fuck your name all up while trying to get it correct. So that's a lot of fun. That said, disclaimer time. This is a comedy show, everybody. We're comedians, so jokes are going to happen. Also, terrible murder happens. And you might say, how do you mix that together? Answer is very carefully, but it works. That's the thing. Yeah, because it's very easy. There's nothing funny about a murder. Someone's being stabbed. You're not like, that's hilarious. That's not funny. What's funny is someone going, I know if I stab her 20 times, I'll get away with this. And that's a
solution.
That's a crazy thought, and that's hilarious to make fun of somebody for. And a lot of these situations are wild, too. So plenty to laugh at. But what we don't laugh at, what we don't do, what we never do is we don't make fun of the victim or the victim's family.
Why, James?
Because we're assholes.
But
we're not scumbags, and that's how that goes. So that sounds good to you. You're going to hear a wild, crazy story. If you think that true crime and comedy should never, ever, ever cross paths, should never cross, then I don't know. Maybe this isn't for you, but maybe it is. No complaining later is what we're saying now. That said, I think it's time, everybody, to sit back. Let's all clear the lungs, arms to the sky, and let's all shout. Shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, everybody.
Okay.
Let's go on a trip, shall we? Let's do it. Jimmy, you ready? All right. We are going.
Did you ever watch Chris Angel Mayan Freak? Did you ever watch that show?
No, I can't stand that guy.
At the very beginning, I just loved it because at the very beginning, you'd always go, are you ready?
Yeah, I remember that.
Creepiest fucking thing.
He looked like you could get hepatitis through the TV if you watched him. I couldn't. No, he looked diseased. Just dirty and gross. Are you ready?
You fucking creep.
To murder you? Yes, we are ready. Hopefully this trick doesn't work. But then it's like, mind freak, and then he's like doing card tricks.
Yeah, right through your loins.
Mind freak. Yes, the 10 of diamonds was my card. Mind freak. So, we are going to Marion, Indiana.
Yeah.
Now, the case actually takes place in the actual addresses in LaFontaine, but there isn't a lot of information on LaFontaine because it's very small and very rural, and it's counted as part of Marion anyway. So we're going to use Marion. This is in East Central Indiana. It's about an hour 20 to Indianapolis and about an hour 10 to Carmel, which was, or Carmel, whatever it was, our last Indiana episode, The Oatmeal Killer. I remember that one. That was crazy. Poison and oatmeal. This is Grant County, area code 765. And the motto here, I feel like they maybe are late to the game on this. There's a couple other ones of these, but the City of Champions. Really? That's they say Pittsburgh is the City of Champions. That's
Who
their
the fuck is from Marion?
Green Bay tried to take it for a while in the 60s, and then Pittsburgh took it because they were in the 70s when they were winning with all the different sports. So we'll find out why, though. There's a reason why here.
Okay, good.
History, the formation of Grant County here was in 1831, so it's not named after that Grant.
Ulysses?
Not Ulysses, no. It was established as the county seat, and that means, you get all the records as we found before.
Yeah.
And it's all gravy from then on.
Right.
There's a river nearby that supplied, water and power and drainage and all that kind of thing.
Sure.
And a lot of these... apparently, this was named after Francis Marion, who was a Revolutionary War general, and known as the Swamp Fox of South Carolina.
Yeah, because that's a tougher
Swamp
name than
Fox.
What's his name? Francis
Marion. Yeah. Which,
2 girls' names?
It's basically John Wayne is what he is. That's John almost. Isn't his name Marion?
What's his last name?
I don't
know. His first
know.
name was Marion.
I think Marion Limprist, I think, is his full name. And then he's like, I can't be a tough cowboy if my name's Marion Limprist. I got to be John Wayne. Sounds better. So
Marion Hipswagger.
Something like that, yeah. Marion Light and Loafer, I think was what it was. Possibly, I think they changed it though.
Marion Swishy.
Yeah, a little swishy. So the Swamp Fox and Marion's prosperity, they were at their peak in about 1955.
Really?
So that's not great. Yeah. Between World War I and 1955 is their real peak because they had a gas boom at that point. They found natural gas there. Yeah. And then the construction of a General Motors stamping and tool plant created a bunch of new jobs. And the city blew up a little bit and, things started happening. They have the 8-time state basketball champion Marion Giants. That's why they're the city of champions. Because in Indiana, high school basketball means a lot. Yeah, a lot. Yeah. They're so fucking into it. So, yeah, that movie, they weren't bullshitting. They're really into that shit here. The Marion Giants play in a 7,500-seat fucking building.
What?
The high school basketball team plays in a
almost 8,000 people.
7,500-seat arena. That is wild.
Oh, my God.
That's incredible, I got to say here. They also have a publicly owned the previous home of the Giants was another place, and it was built after their first state basketball title in 1926. So 8 isn't even recently. These could have been from 50 years ago, these titles. What are they talking?
Yeah, this is a 100-year-old storied program. They only won 8 times? Who gives a shit?
Yeah, who cares?
Who played for him? Anybody notable?
They don't say, but I'm sure somebody. I'm sure. Well, there's not. We'll talk about the famous people from this town, and there's no basketball players involved, so no.
So I guess no?
Nope. They also have the Hostess House, which I don't know if that's like Hostess cakes
Probably.
Or what it is, but that's a big mansion that you can rent out for social functions and shit.
Gotta be.
Famous people from here. Number one, Jim Davis, who is the creator of Garfield, is from here.
No shit.
Yeah, and also James Dean, the actor.
Okay.
Yeah, James Dean from
was
here.
He their point guard?
Yeah, I think he was. He led them to a state title.
Yeah.
And also, for some reason, this is where Julia Roberts and Lyle Lovett got married.
Why though? I think
A, why'd she marry Lyle Lovett? And B, why here? 2 questions for you, Julia.
With it being a James Dean thing, I feel like maybe Lyle has an infatuation with him, or maybe she does.
Who knows? Maybe. Let's do some reviews of this town, because we've never been here. We don't know shit about Marion, Indiana. 5 stars. Here we go. The police patrol my neighborhood every night, which makes me feel very safe at night. The police officers are very nice and helpful when you lock your key in your car. They have no problem getting your car open for you. That's the whole review.
Break your fucking window.
How many times does this person lock their key in their car? It's like, I swear to God, once a week these cops are helping me out. That's Susan again. Get the fucking Slim Jim. Here we go. 4 stars. Marion overall is not the worst place in Indiana to live. Well, there's a rousing endorsement. Overall, not the worst place to live. Okay. It's in the middle of both Indianapolis and Fort Wayne, so if there's nothing to do around town, people usually go to either of these locations. We're heading to Fort Wayne.
I surprisingly know a lot of places in Indiana, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot.
That's weird.
They used to have a lot of.
Why do we know so many?
They used to have a lot of like pro teams. Like Fort Wayne was an NBA team back in the day, like in the 50s.
Then you got Larry Bird from French Lick.
You got Larry Bird from French Lick. You got Indiana gets a lot of definitely overexposed for what they have.
Superstars come out of there, James.
No cultural relevance whatsoever, but we all know a million Indiana towns.
Michael Jackson from Gary. Like there's a lot of people. There's a lot of little towns from Indiana that everybody knows.
People
it's weird.
Have popped up. So there's 3 stars. Parts of this town are literally falling apart. Okay. Once beautiful homes and buildings are falling down and overgrown with weeds. There are drug addicts walking all over the public places. We need support programs to help resolve some of the drug addiction problems. Instead of just filling up the jail, we need to be finding them help and build rehabilitation centers.
Make this place sound like it's just Zombies.
It's a burnt out Midwestern
husk of a town,
ex-industrial town. That's exactly. They just described a lot of towns. 2 stars. Where to begin? Oh. ... question mark. So they're like, ooh, there's so much on the plate here. Marion wasn't always all that bad. Back when we had factory jobs fueling our local economy. Once those shut down and moved away, the trouble started. The trouble. Yeah. Small businesses hardly have a chance here. There's very little in the ways of entertainment. We walk around Walmart for fun. And
really?
We walk around Walmart for fun because there's nothing else to do. It's either that or head over to Fort Wayne for some ripping good time there. And we are smack in the middle of the opioid crisis. We do, however, have a few nice things. Indiana Wesleyan University has a really nice campus on the south side of town. It's nice to just walk around there and forget about where you live. We also have a pretty nice garden area in our city park. All in all, I would not recommend living here.
No, when your 2 best things are take a walk on a college campus.
Go take a walk.
Or Walmart.
Yeah, just to clear your mind. 1 star. College or Walmart? Where are we going tonight, sweetie?
Where's our stroll?
Oh, shit. 1 star. Marion is a scary place to live. That's not a good opening sentence. There is a very high crime rate. We'll be the judge of that. We have the stats, and you don't, sir. Also, a fun fact about Marion is it was the last town to hold a public hanging. Well, isn't that warm and cozy? That's nice.
I don't think that's true, though.
Probably not.
I think Massachusetts holds that honor.
I don't remember. There's always a fun fact about a town that sums up Marion very well. People in this town here, 27,757. That is the population. So there's a college there, which is a good chunk of that. So they're not really townspeople. They're just, they're
visiting for 4 years.
They live here, but they're not, exactly going on there. Male, a lot more female, 54% female, which is about the highest we've ever seen because of the college. Median age here is 36 and a half, which is normal. Family in this town here, low marriage rate because of the college. So it's 32% married. A lot of single with children, 27%, which is usually 10%. That's very different here. Cost of living in this town, or actually unemployment rate, is it's a little above the national average, but nothing out of line. Median household income here, and again, this is going to be driven down by the college as well, because college kids don't make shit for money. Median household income, $37,835 a year, which is
very good.
It's about a little more than half the national average. That's not good at all. And cost of living we have here, 100 being average, regular. Here it is 68, so pretty low.
Okay.
Housing is a 29 out of 100.
Oh, wow.
Median home cost here, buckle up, $103,900.
That's incredible.
It's fucking falling apart. That's the problem. This town is really seems to have seen better days. You drive through it. Remember Kingpin? The movie Kingpin with Woody Harrelson? Remember when he goes back home to the town and he's driving in and seeing the ice cream stand when it was like what it was and now it's like a husk? Feels like that's what Marion is basically.
And this is
strange.
Where he was from, wasn't it?
Yes, he's from Indiana, absolutely. Which Woody Harrelson's always from Indiana in everything he plays.
What the fuck is that?
That's the other thing is fucking Cheers. Woody was always talking about Indiana.
Is he really from Indiana?
I think he is. Look at him. He looks like he's from Indiana.
He looks like he should be on the flag.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Everyone in Indiana looks like this guy. Take a shot from him and White Men Can't Jump. That guy holding a basketball. That's Indiana. There you go. Figured it out. So if we've convinced you, damn it, that Marion, Indiana is the only place that you can feel comfortable calling home in this big bad world, we have for you the Marion, Indiana Real Estate Report. Average 2-bedroom rental here is where we start. $780, which is hugely below the national average, about $500. And there's a lot to rent because there's college kids, so there's plenty of rental properties. Here is a 4-bedroom, 1-bath. I don't know how that works. 1,740 square foot shit dump. I mean, this place You could push this house down. Like, you could demolish this house without tools. You could just kick it down. Like, that's how shitty it is.
You can't eat Brussels sprouts before bed, or you'll fart your house apart.
You fart right through the wood floor. Everything is boarded up and falling down. This is the actual real estate listing. 4-bedroom home in need of total renovation. Covered front porch, carport, and shed. Use caution when viewing the home. All must sign the hazardous condition disclosure form attached before access will be granted. The home is on.
Caution looking at it.
Looking at it, even. Looking at the picture.
Don't stare too long.
You can huff and puff and blow this fucking house down. The home is on a possible demo list from the city. So if you don't buy it, the city's going to knock it down. Purchaser must bring house to code. All offers must have whatever. So you have to agree to bring the house up to code.
Right.
$13,000.
But if you wait 3 months, the city may knock it down, and it might be $10,000.
Well, yeah, for the just the slab at that point.
Yeah.
Here's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, T-bowl for each and every B-hole, 3,639 square feet. Okay. It says you can make it either a house, or it's like a mixed use for business. It's zoned for. It looks like it used to be like a makeshift church or something.
Does it have a property?
It's got some, but not a lot. It has one of the side walls of the house on the outside is just a ceiling to ground cross. So it was a church at one point, or else someone is really into Jesus. One of the two here. They have different signs.
They nailed themselves to it at Easter and Christmas.
Yeah. In there's a sign that says God is good, and then in front of the shower there's a bath mat that says get naked. So it's a mixed. The house is for mixed use. You can say that. Yep, God is good.
Sin it up.
Get them drawers off, girl. One of the two. That house is $234,000.
It's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
It's fucking hilarious, isn't it? And then this next one, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,208 square feet on 3 acres. It's an awesome old house. It's fucking old as shit. Really cool. Okay. Got like the pillars on the front porch. It's a really cool looking house. 3 acres of land, $350,000 for it.
What?
3,200 square feet. Not bad at all.
That's awesome.
That's a really good, for what it is too. It's a really nice old house. It really is. It's kept up and nice and all that. Now, things to do in this town. Yeah. Let's find out. This just seems so wrong. It's the funniest thing in the world. Yeah. You have to know a little James Dean history to understand this joke, but we all know how he died, correct?
Yeah,
everyone?
I'm pretty familiar.
Anybody who doesn't know, James Dean in the 50s was well before our time. Don't think that we're like, how fucking old are these guys? No, well before our time, James Dean was like a real hot shit movie star that was like all the girls wanted to fuck him, and he was like he was totally different than anybody that come along because he was
Did
like
he die at 27
a sneering. I think he was younger than that, honestly.
Really?
And he did a few movies. And was like the biggest star in the world, and then drove his Porsche off a fucking cliff, basically, in fucking California there.
The speedster.
And, died in a car accident. So there's the whole live fast, die young, He's the live fast, die young, leave a good-looking corpse guy. That's him.
He was hot as shit.
Yeah, handsome
Always
young guy.
Smoking, very handsome young man.
Yeah, so they have the 48th annual James Dean Festival and James Dean Car Run Show. What?
A race?
Are you fucking kidding me? The man died in it. What the fuck are you doing? Holy shit, it includes a huge car show featuring 50s classics and custom autos. I bet a bunch of Porsches probably. Parade of neon. Okay. Special guests, a swap meet. Got to have that in the middle of all this. And plenty of 50s entertainment.
Okay.
There's also a James Dean look-alike contest. Got to have that.
I'm sure there's a lot of those.
A lot of those. A dance contest, carnival rides, and lots of fun along Main Street in the heart of James Dean's hometown of Fairmount, which is right next door. Visit the Fairmount Historical Museum. Take a trip along the James Dean Trail in Grant County.
It's very funny that there's like all this traveling.
And there's going
James Dean.
No shit. And this is great too. They have other events though.
Yeah.
They have at 3:00 the flame throw contest.
What?
I don't know what that is. But
how do they do that?
You know what? It's sponsored by the Fairmont Fire Department, which is amazing.
Oh, that's great.
Let's teach people how to throw flames so we can put them out. That's terrific. Also, the Jason Wells Band will be there. Got to have them. Yeah. Who else? Alan Cochrane and the Crestliners will be there. Yikes. That sounds great. Who else is here? Well, let me get a band. The Giants will be there. Nope. Detroit Rock City, which is a Kiss tribute band.
Of course it
That stole the name of a fucking movie. There's a Garfield Great Race, because you got to mix Jim Davis in here. A rock lasso contest. Are you lassoing a rock, or is it like rock music while you lasso?
I'll bet it's a giant rock, and you see how,
maybe.
Get your lasso at the bottom of it.
The James Dean look-alike contest, of course. And an outdoor screening of East of Eden, which is a James Dean movie as well, obviously. And they say that they'll have local live entertainment on Sunday, not even a band name.
Don't want you to know.
Local and live, fuckers. Just come on down.
A podcast that rips them.
Just we don't want to even say. We don't want to say. Also, a 50s dance contest.
Okay.
Which I guess is you're just twisting a lot.
It's a sock hop thing.
Yeah, that's
it's
what
a lot
you're doing.
Of poodle skirts and like fucking cigarettes rolled in your sleeves.
Flinging a woman around. Like that's what it seemed like back then. Like who can be? I feel like the whoever wins the dance contest is who is the most careless with the safety of the woman dance partner. That's what it feels like.
How dirty is she afterwards?
How many possible broken necks did she get? How many times did her white poodle skirt drag along the fucking ground as you flung her from side to side, flipped her over your back for some fucking reason? I don't know.
I want to know why that poodle was such a big fucking deal.
I don't know. I don't get
the
it.
Fucking
I don't know the genesis of it is.
I don't know.
Lost on me. I'm not sure.
It's just like a carpet poodle on your fucking smooth skirt. What's the deal with that?
It was like a Letterman poodle, like a fucking Letterman jacket.
Everybody's got to have a poodle.
Oh, she's on the poodle team. Excellent. Crime rate in this town now. These people said it was dangerous, and they weren't fucking lying.
Really?
The property crime is more than 1/3 above the national average.
Jesus.
So it is. That's a lot, man. That's a lot of drug activity, probably, I would assume. And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and, of course, assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime. For a small town, it's usually a little fucking right at average. National average, this town is. It's brutal. So that said, let's talk about some murder and get into this, okay? This is what a weird story this is, man. Okay, let's do this. Let's talk about a young lady, first of all, here. Okay. Lisa. Let's talk about Lisa Young. Lisa is born November 16th, 1972, and has a very nice family. Lisa's a real happy-go-lucky young lady. Nice family, all that kind of thing. Her mother's name is Lucille. Her father's name is Jerry. Old Jerry Young. He sounds like a dependable guy, Jerry Young. Right?
Jerry and Lucy? Hell yeah.
Yeah, like Jerry Young he knows how to fix anything on your car. Like Jerry will come over with like just his little toolbox and somehow fix any car, I feel like.
That's my dad and my grandfather. They both do that.
And my father and my brother are like that too.
No, I mean, that's their name.
Oh,
Jerry.
That's their names. I thought you meant
both of them. Yeah.
No, my father's, if you tell him that anything broke,
I'll be over, goddamn.
No, and that you fixed it. He's like, oh, why didn't you call me? Jesus.
I had a koozie in my pocket.
I had nothing to do. I'd have been there in 5 fucking minutes. He's so mad. It's so mad.
I got a koozie and everything. I'm waiting for the beer.
Fridge vent thing I had to saw. He was like, gee, what the fuck? I have saws. I could have been there. I could have been sawing. This is crazy.
I didn't use my saw yesterday.
Oh, God,
just call me.
Upset. He was so upset by that.
He's going to go look at his saw and apologize to it for not using it.
I'm sorry, saw. We had him weld something. He's never been happier. I'm going to start breaking metal shit and just giving it to him because we gave him like this light thing in the front of our house. It's like 100 years old and it's like brass or copper or some shit. So we had him weld it. And he was thrilled, man. I swear to God. If you have any broken metal shit, Jimmy, send it to me and my father will weld it.
I'll get it right in the mail.
Let's keep him sane.
I mean, my dad's name is Jerry and he can fix shit, but he's not coming over to do it. Like your dad's disappointed. I tell my dad I did something, and he's like, oh, why didn't you call me? And it's like, because you wouldn't have shown up. That's why.
Yeah, because you're very undependable.
Yeah.
That's why.
Because I had 28 years of my life that you weren't there. That's why.
Don't you get it?
Because I didn't meet you till I was almost 30, man.
Man.
Like, I can just assume that I can count on you now?
Now, all of a sudden, you're going to just pop in out of nowhere when I need you?
Sure, all right.
Well,
I think I'll handle it first.
He knows you're alive now, so that's good. He probably has more chance of him showing up. But So Lisa, though, she has her family's together. Her sisters, she has 2 sisters, so 3 girls in the family, which Jer is outnumbered there. 4-1 on Jer there. She, I guess, her sister Christine is 4 years older than Lisa. And she says that her younger sister, Lisa, always a happy kid, like child, beaming with happiness, running around. And even in high school, she's friends with everybody. They said she's the type of person that hangs out with every crowd. She knows everybody. Real, and that's how she is, too. She's real quick to ingratiate herself to people. They like her. She's very likable.
She's been in Marion her whole life?
No, they moved a little bit, and then they ended up. Marion is where she grew. She comes to Marion later because she's from Philly originally.
Gosh, oh shit!
Yeah, they're from Philly, and she said as children, that they like to roller skate a lot. Especially Lisa, big roller skater in their driveway in Philly, and big fan of the Cabbage Patch Dolls, of course.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, 10-year-old in the early '80s. There, she said she always had a Cabbage Patch doll in her hand. She graduated from high school in 1990 in Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania, which I believe is a suburb of Philly. And also attended Philadelphia Art Institute.
Oh.
So, she quite a nice life.
Sick, yeah.
Yeah, and then she'll end up moving to Indiana later on for a job. She lives in Swayze for a while, just like Patrick. So we definitely knew that one. Patrick Swayze, Indiana, which is
another town in Indiana.
Well, that's the sister city to Lou Diamond Phillips, Oklahoma, in case you didn't know. I don't know if you knew that, but that's Swayze, Indiana, and Lou Diamond Phillips, Oklahoma. So, she...
30 years later, I still chuckle.
It's so fucking funny. That's why.
It's so funny.
It's so funny. That was like 5 years ago, and it's still...
Was it 5?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And it's still hilarious. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So... anyway, she ends up leaving there. She will end up in Indiana. She will do marketing. She went to the Philadelphia Art Institute, but she does marketing, which is the least artistic thing in the world, which is interesting. Unless she's doing artwork for it or something like that. Otherwise, artwork, marketing is the most cynical.
Sure.
It doesn't seem like her, but she's good at it and enjoys it.
Okay.
I think a lot of it, too, is she's good at social situations and she's likable. That helps for marketing, too. She is going to end up having a son in 1991.
Oh, girl.
Which she's, 19 years old. It's when she's in college, she ends up having a son. So I don't know if she drops out of the Philadelphia Art Institute and into something else, because she'll end up going back to college to do marketing while her son is young. So her son's name, and Jesus Christ, you couldn't have a cooler name than this. This is cooler than James Dean here. This is a cool name. Her son's name is Dylan McCoy. Which
a cowboy right there.
That sounds like you if you're coming up with a cowboy script, you're like, what do I name this guy? He's got to be like, he's badass, but he's also like real, like he has integrity. You know what I mean? And type of guy that doesn't even squint in the sun. It's Dylan McCoy, I think is your name.
He rolled into town. He didn't even he's never been a lawman. They made him sheriff. You know why? Because his name is Dylan McCoy.
They just put the badge on his chest. Yeah. They were like, pow, star on your chest, homie. You're Sheriff Dylan McCoy.
Dylan McCoy.
People will listen to Dylan McCoy. You know?
The only thing he knows is you can't drink under 21. That's all he knows about the law.
God, it's all it is to keep like women from throwing themselves at him when he's like in preschool still. And mom just, get back. He's only a child. Jesus Christ.
They only circumcised him because the rest of it wouldn't fit.
It's just so sexy. Yeah.
It would have been way too big.
They said, Dylan McCoy, he's going to be using this thing a lot. We better pare it down to a usable, manageable. He's going to be busy, everybody.
It's got to be able to be accommodated.
Otherwise, it's going to be friction burn and everything else. This is ridiculous. So Dylan's born in 1991, and she's a single mother in the early 90s, going back to school, raising Dylan at the same time, trying to make ends meet, but being a real good mom and doing it. I mean, she does it. She goes to school, she gets her degree, she makes ends meet here. Very much into her son. Her sister said Dylan is always everything to her, and she does a wonderful job raising him always. And,
single mom, huh?
Single mom, yeah. And Dylan's a good kid too. I mean, she raises a hell of a nice kid and a good kid, and huge penis and everything else. He's doing great. So
casual.
Huge penis. At one point, she worked at the J.C. Penney in the 5 Points Mall, I believe, while she was going to school. The 5 Points Mall in Marion, which was formerly the North Park Mall, apparently.
Oh.
And then she was the marketing sales director for WXXC Radio in Marion as well.
Oh.
So, yeah, she's working her way up and working her way into the world. And then in 1995, she meets a man.
Yeah.
She meets a man. Apparently one night, it's very rare that she goes out, basically, because she has a lot going on between
busy, man.
Work and a young son. But one night, she apparently decides that she's going to go out with her girlfriends. Her girlfriends talk her into going out on a rare night out for her. And while she's out, they go out dancing, and they go to a bar or club or whatever the hell, I assume a bar in this area. And she meets a man named Scott Peterson. Oh. And if you notice the name is very close to Scott Peterson, it's not the only thing that's close to Scott Peterson here.
No?
He even kind of looks like him. He's got a meat sacky look. He's just a... There's just a
hasty dough ball.
It's almost like there was like a parallel universe of like there's a Scott Peterson here and there's a Scott Peterson there.
Fascinating.
It's so fucking weird. He's born.
What was the Peterson ex-cop? Wasn't he a Scott Peterson also?
I think he might have been. Yeah, that's possible.
Disappeared 2 wives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, the whole thing is very. Yeah. It has a real familiar tone to it here. He's born November 69, so he's a couple years older than her, but definitely in the range. He is at this time, and for the last few years, he's a big workout buff. He's real ripped and jacked and everything.
Yeah,
and
80s.
He hands her a business card. When he's talking to her, he goes, well, yeah, here's my business card. And it's, if I gave you 5,000 guesses as to his profession, you'd never get it. And I'm talking not just you, Jimmie, our entire hundreds of thousands of people, nobody would guess this man's profession.
Beefcake extraordinaire.
A Jean Claude Van Damme lookalike. That's his job.
Okay.
You hire him and he comes over and pretends to be, speaks in a Belgian accent and does splits. What the fuck else does Jean Claude Van Damme do?
Does splits with a couple of school chairs in your living room
and shows you his ass, because that's what he does too.
and then fucks a mediocre looking woman.
and then does a movie with Dennis Rodman, and that's the end of it. It's better. I guess it's better than being a Steven Seagal lookalike. That would be, you know.
Oh, fuck.
Nobody wants to look like Steven Seagal, I don't think. That's
but I guess if you wake up in the morning and look in the mirror, you got to go, ugh. Well, at least I can make money with this face.
I guess so, with this gut. But Jean Claude Van Damme, you have to be ripped to look like him.
Right, that's a lot of work.
He's got his shirt off all the time.
Oh,
he didn't have it. There was a time in the 90s where I don't think he had a shirt on for 3-4 straight years. I think he never had cloth touch his chest. He just had it off, and his ass hung out most of the time too.
This is great. The most hairless face and neck you've ever seen, though. Until there was a movie where he had like a light beard, and it was like
he had a shadow.
Fucking weird.
Because he's a blonde man. Blonde men shouldn't have facial hair. They look ridiculous.
It was so uncomfortable. Like, oh no,
facial hair is not for blonde men.
No.
Be happy that you perpetually look like you're 12. Enjoy that instead. Facial hair isn't. You just look like a sick child when you know what I mean? When blonde men grow facial hair, they look like sick children.
You look like a large teenager.
Yeah, it's not good. It's a bad look. So he's a Jean Claude Van Damme lookalike, and he also owns a roofing company.
Oh.
Is that Jean Claude Van Damme up on my roof with a hot mop right now? Hot mop in my fucking tar. Is that Jean Claude Van Damme doing it from his crotch in a full split?
Stapling shit.
That's how he nails down shingles. He does a split and pop, and then he pops back up again. He charges extra for that, but it's worth it. So he handed her the business card. And the friend was like, who's this guy? And she showed the business card. And the friend's like, Jean Claude Van Damme lookalike. What the fuck is that?
How does that do anything for you?
What a tool. But Lisa was fucking hearts in her eyes. She thought he's big. He's handsome, I guess, if you in that way, if you like that look. And he doesn't really look like Jean Claude Van Damme, I will say, though. No, he's got the same color hair.
He just picked up a couple of dumbbells and then said
and then speaks in a Belgian accent probably and screams Mortal Kombat. Or no, Street Fighter he was in. Not
was
Mortal
it Street
Kombat.
Fighter?
He was Guile or
was
whatever.
Guile? Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Guile.
Yeah, not Mortal Kombat. That would be completely different.
That would be like fucking Johnny Cage.
He played Raiden.
You know what? I think it was Mortal Kombat. Was he Johnny Cage? No,
fuck, I don't remember. I thought he was Street Fighter. I really did.
It must have been Street Fighter as Guile. It had to be.
I thought so, yeah. Terrible shit, though. It was awful either way. So she is into him. She calls him up. He excitedly picked up his phone thinking it was a job for his Jean Claude Van Damme lookalike business. And he was like, oh, it's just this chick I met at the bar. But they get together and, it pops fast, this romance. Mm-hmm. And within a year, they're getting married.
Wow.
Under a year, they're getting married. I mean, he's a single guy looking to settle down.
Fast. And
she is a single mom and is totally into him, so why not? Sure. You know what I mean? So August 24th, 1996, they get married. Okay. And it is a big fucking deal, I guess.
Really?
I don't know who shelled out. It's a huge event. I don't know who shelled out for this fucking wedding, but someone put some dough into this shit because she had, it was a whole big overblown thing, and she pulled up in the white horse-drawn carriage. And
what?
Oh, yeah. They
showed up that way.
They had a fucking Disney wedding, and I mean that
Cinderella.
literally.
Yeah.
No, Beauty and the Beast themed thing they had going on.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So much so that during the reception, their couples dance at their first dance was to the theme song from Beauty and the Beast.
Oh boy!
Beauty and the Beast, not Be Our Guest. That'd be a weird rhythm for a first married song. It's too fast,
real wedding trot.
It's not really romantic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's Beauty and the Beast. It's all that shit.
The Elton John song, right?
They
Did
have
he sing that? Who sang that?
No, I think it was a woman singing it.
Elton John did the Lion King, right?
Yeah, he did that, and he did all the other shit. He did a bunch after that.
I don't
think so. That was before I think Disney was doing like the big team ups with famous, with famous people and all that shit. They were doing their own. So he dressed up as the Beast for the dance.
He dressed up.
I don't know if that includes the head or what, but
hair. Yeah,
I don't know
big fucking mask,
or if it's just that weird like outfit he wore.
Stupid. I don't know military.
I was going to say
thing.
Captain Crunch outfit, basically.
Yeah, very bizarre military thing that he was wearing. Like,
I don't understand.
You were not in. I don't think you were enlisted.
Was he an officer or something? I didn't get that. Yeah,
maybe before he was cursed, possibly.
And again, he's a beast too. I would put him in the military. It'd be great.
I'd put him right on the front fucking line.
He'd go up. People go, holy shit! And then you can shoot them while they're all shocked. It'll be so easy every time.
I'd drop a gun and run if the North Koreans paraded that thing up on our shores.
Run back to the south.
Yeah.
So yeah, he dressed up as the Beast, and they did their whole. So I mean, he's indulging her because I'm sure he didn't have a Beauty and the Beast thing. Probably.
I'm sure it wasn't his fantasy.
No. Yeah. And my daughter loved Beauty and the Beast when she was little too. That's the one little girls like.
Yeah, it's because Belle's fucking adorable.
Exactly. So they do this whole Disney-themed wedding. And her mom said it was very beautiful, and she was so happy that day. I was so happy for her.
Okay.
And
Is Lisa a brunette?
Was Lisa a brunette? Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's my point. She probably sees herself mostly and recognizes as that princess thing, too.
For a second, I thought you meant the mom. I was like, what difference does that make? I said Lisa's mom. Is she a brunette? Huh? No, her Lisa is a brunette. Yeah, so that makes sense. And I think maybe that is like the brunettes.
Yeah, that's the brunette's princess.
Yeah, that's the brunette's princess. Like, fuck Cinderella.
They're blonde shit.
They're blonde shit. Yeah, oh yeah, she's so put upon. She goes outside, the prince tries to fuck her immediately. Why? Blonde! Bitch.
All she did was take a shower and put a dress on.
That's what I mean.
You're hot.
That's the first story of like like the bet for like somebody. I'll bet you can't make her hot, right. And then they just take her glasses off and pull her hair down, and they're like, ta-da! She was the first one to do that. Drop the bun, glasses off. Perfect. There we go. Hold on. Pop the tits. Hey, look at you. You're a fucking model.
Remember the Love Potion #9 with Sandra Bullock? That's all he did was take her fucking glasses off and take her hair down. It's like, oh, wow, she's hot. Wow.
It's
amazing.
Like not another teen movie, the spoof of the teen movies. That's what they did. They took like, she's gorgeous now.
Wow.
Yeah. Like nobody can see this girl's amazing bone structure and fucking please
sick ass and
no, we'll see right through. We have X-ray vision for that kind of shit.
Oh yeah.
Hot in disguise. That's I see it.
There's no frumpy clothes you can put on a hot body and be like she's gross.
We will see your tits. We'll find them. We know they're there.
I'll fuck the hell out of that frumpy girl.
Yep, absolutely. So Lisa becomes marketing director for the mall that she worked, the JCPenney mall. So she's the marketing director there now, and she loves the mall.
Sure,
loves it.
Yeah.
She'd have been very disappointed if she kept that job for 20 years.
Yeah, wait till she hears about Amazon ruining that shit.
We have like 4 stores left. I don't know how to market this. So it's a hair salon. There's a weave place down there. There's a
hat airbrushing joint.
Things remembered for some reason that no one's ever gone in.
Nobody's ever been in.
2 phone case kiosks. And the husk of a JCPenney. That's all we have left. That JCPenney.
Chinese toy kiosk in the center too. That nobody ever buys.
And like Asian drinks. The one place in the mall that has like all the like foreign
weird
snacks.
Weird punches. Yeah.
So I guess her sister Christine lived in Virginia, and her sister said that Lisa was just loved working at the mall. She said that was her whole enjoyment then, her son and the mall.
Yeah.
That's it. She said she loved all the workers and the mall walkers. She always had stories about the mall walkers.
Wow.
Because that is kind of interesting to be able to watch old people walk the mall every day and see you'd have nicknames for everybody that comes in. Oh, there's.
If you're involved at the mall that much, yeah.
Yeah, you'd have nicknames for every old person, and you'd have the whole thing there.
She's like the guys from Mallrats. What were the?
Jason Lee.
Jason Lee. She's Jason Lee.
So she is very busy, too. She's a member of a shitload of things. Let's go through these. A member of the Ambassadors Club of Marion. Don't know what they do. The Grant County Chamber of Commerce, the Marion Rotary Club, the Treaty Church of Christ in Treaty. She also scrapbooked, painted, did crafts, and loved board games at the time. She's just doing all this. These are her interests, and her son. And I don't know how you have time for all that. She's got a best friend named Leah Frazier, And Leah works at the JCPenney's at the mall, and that's how they met. And now she's the marketing director. Leah still works at JCPenney. So but she's going to reach down from her exalted position and still hang out with little JCPenney Leah. She's like, listen, I'm not better than you now just because I'm the marketing director. So they would see each other every day at work, and they sent each other texts and called each other, and they're really good friends, basically, like friends do.
Send each other texts. What year is this?
Texting and call, or did I say, text messages. This is in the late 90s into the 2000s. So, yeah.
Okay, so she's been married a while.
Oh, yeah, this is going through great. The 2000s here. We're talking about like the next 10 years from 95 on. So, yeah, the marriage is going fine. They're texting, calling each other, like I said, and they spend a lot of time outside of work together. They go to concerts and dinners and even vacations together. Wow. They also work out together, the two young ladies.
She works out, too?
She works out because Scott really gets on her to work out. Because Scott is Mr. Workout. He's a Jean Claude Van Damme impersonator. Yeah. So he's like, hey, you're getting a little flabby there. Like, he's that kind of thing. Oh, why don't you go work it out type of deal. Yikes. Like, she goes to a doctor and gets on weight loss medication as well, as we'll talk about. Really? So she's on a couple of different things to try to help her lose weight while she works out. She's not heavy at all, too. That's ridiculous. That's the ridiculous part. I don't know how... like cut she wants to be or how tight she wants to be, but she's not like a big lady or anything at all by any stretch. So they do that. Her friend Leah said she's a very loyal, kind person. What you saw is what you got at Elisa always. She said one time, this is how nice Lisa and Scott were, that her and her husband were planning to go on a vacation, but their daughter had a dance recital come up. Like they booked the vacation 6 months in advance, and then a dance recital pops up. So they're like, fuck. So what she did is Lisa took their daughter out of state. Lisa said, you go on vacation. I'll not only watch your daughter, I'll take her to her out-of-state dance recital.
You guys go to the Bahamas.
That is such a lot to imagine asking someone to do that. Could you watch my daughter? Oh, could you drive her to Illinois too and take her to and then watch a bunch of children dance also?
Watch all of the Not Your Children dance.
No.
Because even those dance recitals are brutal. Sitting through to watch your own dance. This is literally none of yours.
You don't know any of these fucking kids. So stayed the night with the kid in the hotel, went out of town, took her to a hotel and all that. So Fraser and her husband could go on vacation. And she said, that's the type of person Lisa is. That's just how she is. She said, even if she wasn't in a good mood, she had a smile on her face all the time. She had the most contagious smile. I always felt very privileged to have her as a friend. That's what she said. She said she's always upbeat and optimistic about life, too. She said she could be having the worst day and you'd never know it because she was just a happy person. So she's either suppressing it and repressing it, or she's, really one of these people that goes, well, life's still good and moves on.
Man.
Now, Scott and Lisa settle in a really fucking big house, man. His roofing company must be crushing it, or I don't know if
she's so busy.
She's busy, and I don't know if her parents have some money, maybe. Okay, that would not possibly explain the extravagant wedding at the time.
Sure, yeah.
Because, and I don't know if they help, but their address here is 5581 East 800 S, so south, I guess, La Fontaine, Indiana. I'm going to show you a picture of the fucking house.
What the fuck?
It's a big fucking house. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 4,700 square foot house.
Almost 5,000 square foot house.
Fucking big. And there's 3 people that live here. God. And it's just Lisa, Scott, and Dylan that live here.
That's how you keep your marriage
That's
going,
it.
Man.
That's square footage.
Enjoy your wing.
I don't care. I'll be over there. 4,700 square feet's a big fucking house.
No kidding.
So his roofing business is doing well, and Lisa is a marketing manager at the mall. So I guess, I don't know, they make money together. And and also this house today is still like the Zestimate on it is like $680,000 or something. So
Jesus,
it's sold in 2019 for $240 something. So when they bought it in
so it's boomed recently.
1998, it was probably cheap because it's in La Fontaine, Indiana. It's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So
I just learned a new Indiana. God
there you go. So they moved there at about 99, 2000 into this area in this house. And from Swayze is where she lived. Sure. And this whole thing here, from the time she gets married They are really living the good life. Not only do they have this big house, they go on these vacations to the Caribbean all the time. They go snorkeling in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Big deal. They have big parties and all that kind of thing. They said their vacations in the Caribbean, they'd be snorkeling with stingrays, and they'd be like, they're always doing shit. You know what I mean? And they thought Scott was hot shit. Everybody thought, man, he must be doing great. Lisa's son, Dylan, said he wanted everything to be the biggest and the best all the time. That's why they had to have the biggest house around, and they have to go on the best vacation, and we're going to have the biggest party and have the best food. And
the best vacation sounds great.
That sounds wonderful. Yeah. Fuck, 3 days off sounds good for me at this point. I don't even care if we go anywhere. I'll sit in my house.
2.5 from time to time, and those 2.5 are magic.
They go by really fast.
So fast.
So fast.
Especially if you go anywhere. God damn it.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, then it's over. Forget it. If you actually do something. No, I
get 6 hours of doing something.
I sit in my house and watch the clock, so I know it's going slower. I can. What I do?
A prisoner.
That's it, man. Oh, man, make this go by slow. So he kept up on his fitness the whole time, and he didn't want to, he didn't want to start getting chunky here. And he kept after Lisa always to stay in shape. And why don't you go with your best friend and, go work out? Why don't you do shit like that? Lisa was always very conscious about her weight, the food she ate, the exercise she did. She did aerobics. She did the stair stepper, did things like that. So Scott said, well, if you like doing that stuff, I'm going to install some gym equipment in the basement. That way you don't have to go to the gym to do it. You can work out at home.
Oh, God.
So he builds her like a little home gym for him, too. They get a few things like a treadmill, a stair stepper, a tanning bed.
Look,
that is wow.
If you stay fat, tan fat looks better than white.
That's
fat.
What we discussed the other day. Remember that was on what was that on Crime and Sports? We'd had a whole discussion about.
That's 100% true. Yeah.
It's true. That's all the wrestlers did that. Yeah, wrestlers used to invest in tanning beds and keep them in their houses, and then they'd stop to tan all the time. So you look because you look rested when you're tan for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas if you're pale, you look like what? You haven't slept or something? You look
right?
terrible. Yeah. You okay? You sick? You've been sick? Jesus, you look awful. You look like cottage cheese. So that, and he also put in a weight machine down there with the bench, one of those like a solo flex thing with the weight, the bar, and all that kind of shit. But it's a bar that goes straight across. It's one of those, not a handles.
It's a bar go on a cord that lifts the weights like that.
Yeah, and I have the name of the machines and all that too. So we'll get to that. Right. Now, things got so good with the family here that Dylan grows to call Scott dad and everything. I mean, well, they got married when he was 4.
Yeah, and he doesn't know his dad. So.
He doesn't really know his dad. So this is, I don't know who his dad is, but he must have been not a great guy if he's never fucking around.
Never heard of him.
Yep. He's like, I don't know him, so I guess you're dad now. So. Yeah. And he said, growing up, I really didn't have a father figure. I mean, slowly and surely I called him dad. So that was that. Family and friends, though, as much as they are happy that Lisa's happy and that, the family's doing well, obviously, financially, and they have comforts, they're not really crazy about Scott. They got some issues with Scott. Yeah, they said some impressions that he was, a lot of people thought he was a self-centered asshole, which would make sense. Like it sounds like that. Yeah.
And you call yourself a most fit guy on the planet at the time look-alike.
Look at me. Yeah, so there's that, and everybody said also, too, he could be kind of a drill instructor to like Dylan and shit like that, too. They didn't like that. So that was a thing that was kind of a red flag to them. They said that they just didn't get it, the family, basically. They said he's not he doesn't really fit into the group there. They said, holiday gatherings, he was just weird, basically. They said that he would boss Dylan around like he was an army recruit. Okay. And they said harsh punishments for the slightest fuck up. And
really?
He was really tough on Dylan. Yeah. Dylan said at one point he didn't take out the morning mail, to put in the box and put the flag up, old school shit there. Yeah. And it was 6 a.m. And so he said that this is crazy. To basically fucking the mother had to say like, oh, act like this and that and act like you're sick and I'll go walk out to the mailbox. And she had to like fix it, like, so he wouldn't get upset. Yeah, it's shit like that. Dylan said, I had a great mom, but I always wanted a better fatherly figure. And Lisa's mother, though, never liked Scott. The sister really either. Her sister said, I wondered whether he was someone that totally respected and loved her with all his heart, and I didn't see that with Scott.
Interesting.
Now, there's a reason, too, because later on in the 2000s here, we're talking about 2006, 2007, they've been married 12, 13 years, Scott starts having an affair.
Really?
Starts having an affair, which is weird, too, because it's with a pretty, like, kind of well-known around town kind of a chick here. Mm-hmm. She's the former chief of staff for Marion Mayor Wayne Seabold at the time.
Political gal.
And her husband's a cop in town.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, this is a real touchy, weird thing. Same age, same in the ballpark 50, age. Yeah. No. They're in their shit. He was born 72. They're 30s.
No, he was born in 69.
69. So, yeah, he's, in his 30s right now.
40-something, right?
Yeah, mid-30s is what that would be. 69. Really? Yeah, 69 to 99 is 30.
Yeah,
and then,
you're right.
Yeah. You're right. So, trust me on math.
Okay, I will.
So Scott's having an affair with her. Her name is Stacy Henderson, and she looks exactly like she sounds. Jimmie, describe Stacy Henderson to me.
Big tits, narrow waist.
And what color hair?
Oh, that's a blonde lady.
That's a blonde lady, Stacy Henderson. You got it, my friend. You nailed Stacy. Right Boom. Yep. She is the Cinderella to Lisa's Belle, is what this is exactly. Mm-hmm. So he's having an affair with her. Okay. The thing is, this is a small town, and as happens a lot in these small towns, especially.
Everybody fucking knows.
Especially if you're fucking around with someone who two people are well known here. I mean, he owns a roofing company. His wife, everybody knows. She's in every club in town.
Yeah.
This one worked at the mayor's office. Her husband's a cop. If these two are getting together, people are noticing. You know what I mean?
Know. Yeah.
So Lisa, in 2008, discovers that Scott has been having an affair with Stacy.
She knows.
She found out. So she said, lay down the gauntlets. What the fuck are you doing? And this is ridiculous. And he said, you're right. I'm sorry. This is terrible. He had to admit it because she had him nailed dead to rights. So he said, I'm done. It's over. I'm sorry. You're right. This is crazy. I love you, blah, blah, blah. And he stops talking to Stacy for a little while. Okay. But that lasts about 3 months, and then they start at it again.
Who put it back on? Was it him or her?
It was not sure. I don't even know if they know. There's a lot of relationships. You go, well, who? You go, I don't know. I don't know who started this.
We're fucking fire. We can't stop either way.
It's what it is. Yeah. So somehow they end up resuming their affair, and Scott's just not happy in his marriage, and he likes Stacy a lot better. But she's still married too, so they're both very unavailable. Would be the best way to put it. And Scott's acting like they're just single, and he's trying to make a decision of who he wants to go out with. It's really fucking weird. So Scott, on November 19th, 2008, he does a really weird thing. He calls a real estate appraiser named Marie Lloyd, and he said, hey, could you do me a favor and appraise my house for me, but without my wife knowing it?
Yeah, don't tell the
Is that possible? Don't tell the wife. He said that she said, I guess, and blah, blah, blah. And during the conversation, he said that I'm just trying to find out because, quote, I don't know if I can afford a divorce. Which is exactly like the math joke that I had. That's forever.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking thing. Yeah. I'm trying to decide if it's financially possible to stop arguing with this person. It's the same shit. So, Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sonobello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sonobello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sonobello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right, let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, well, still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmie's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah, they're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad. Right. There's chemicals in things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, it's great. Amazing. Yeah. That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up for energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff, and I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options. Nice. It's very cool, and you can personalize this portion, and you can put filters on it, and get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
He said that I didn't know if I didn't know if I could afford a divorce, and he laughed, ha ha ha. Yeah. So the lady was like, "Okay, sure, I guess."
That's an awkward thing to say out loud to somebody that's not involved in this.
I guess you laugh, and then they laugh, and they just hope you're kidding, and whatever, and that's how it goes. So around that time here, Dylan McCoy, cock swinging. He recalled that during the winter, and nobody fucking say, oh, he's a child. He's not a child now, okay? He's fine. He's born in 1991. The man's 33 years old. He's doing fine.
Yeah. He's got kids, for Christ's sake.
He used that big old fucking hog to produce some kids, probably. He can't even help it. He walks by people. They're pregnant.
I'll bet they're plural.
Yeah. So Dylan recalled one time in the winter of 2008, he and Scott got into an argument. And Lisa got in the middle of it, came in between them, and Scott shoved Lisa away, pushed Lisa. Now, Dylan says that was the only time he ever saw Scott become any level of physical with Lisa ever during their entire relationship. Okay. He never saw it ever except for that. And she said that Lisa was upset, but she didn't get hurt. She didn't get shoved to the ground or anything.
She just shoved back.
He just shoved her back, but he said that's the only time he's ever put hands on her. So, and that's not great, but it's also, I don't know what the context of it was. How hard was the shove? Was it more of a, hey, push back?
Redirect, yeah.
I'm not sure. Either way, it doesn't matter. But December 31st, 2008, again, still in the same winter, this is now November is the real estate thing. The shove comes right after that. Then December 31st, 2008, the police are involved now.
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve police involvement.
Golly.
Wabash County Sheriff Leroy Stryker said that an incident in December 31st, 2008, where he was called to the home for a civil dispute between the couple over property. They were, I don't know, fighting over their record collection on fucking New Year's Eve.
We should be, yeah.
They're together at this point.
Right. We should be worried about what time are we going to go to bed tonight? Are we going to stay up? Are we going to do the whole thing?
We're going to watch the ball. Let's watch the ball. Yeah, why not?
He's getting real old.
I don't know what it is.
See him again.
I just feel like watching Ryan Seacrest tonight. I don't know what it is.
I think he wasn't in yet. Was it him and what was his name?
Yeah, they had like an assistant for Dick Clark. Yeah.
Dick
Clark.
Yeah.
They were like, don't give him monologues anymore.
He's
Dick Clark goes, hey, welcome to Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve. And then Ryan Seacrest goes, okay, Dick, and like moves him aside.
Thanks, Dick.
Hey, thanks for coming out. We're going to I think this 2008-ish was when he was worming his way into that bullshit, I assume here. So the cop showed up, and he said that the cop said he was only there for about 10 minutes, during which time nothing physical occurred between Scott and Lisa, and Dylan was also present at the time, and the sheriff drove Dylan to a friend's house to stay the night because he didn't want to be in the middle of the whole thing. And so somehow the sheriff's like, I'll give him a ride.
Yeah, but the
see how he gets all them ladies.
Yeah. The sheriff recognized discomfort and was like, let's just not have the kid be a part of this tonight.
He doesn't need to be here, right? Probably. Yeah. And he's like 17 at that point, too.
Right. He's not this kid's almost
not
an
7.
adult.
Yeah. He's not 7. February 2009 comes around, and they're still together. They still live together, even though they've had problems and all this. Scott tells Lisa's friend Leah, they're talking about the fact that they're, they're having problems and all that, and Leah's trying to talk to him, and he says, well, I'm not going to give her 50% of my business. So he's like, listen, all the rest of the shit, but I'm not giving her half the fucking business.
Yes, you are. Just do it.
Start another one, I don't know. At one point during this, right in this window, he called his mother-in-law. He calls Lucy up, and he told Lucy that, I don't think Lisa trusts me anymore. Well, she did catch you fucking the mayor's assistant, so maybe that's the mayor's chief of staff. Yeah. That's probably a thing.
What reason does she have to trust you?
Why would she? It's going to take more than that. So he then started complaining about Dylan, which your daughter's a twat and your grandson sucks is a bad approach to your mother-in-law. You know what I mean?
No, was he saying it to Leah or to Lucy?
No, he's saying it to Lucy. This
really?
Call. The other one was Leah. I'm saying around this time he called Lucy and told Lucy that I don't think your daughter trusts me anymore.
And your grandson sucks too?
Your grandson sucks, yeah. And they said, well, why does he suck so bad? Because he doesn't clean his room.
Well, that is frustrating.
That is, but it's also, you have a teenage boy.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. So Lucy said that Scott told her, quote, I want them to leave, referring to Dylan and Lisa. I want them out of the house. So then the mother said, well, you can leave if you're that frustrated with being around them.
Right.
You're welcome to leave. And she said that he just said, okay, and hung up the phone. Okay, not getting where he wanted, basically.
Yeah, you're not on my side. Gotta go.
Yep. He wanted the mom to tell Lisa, you should really move out.
Right.
That's what he wanted. Because, your son's got a dirty room and all. So, at a 4,700 square feet, he can't find another space to be in.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Then March 20th, 2009, Scott files for divorce from Lisa. 4 months later after the whole, And then a hearing is set for April 3rd. March 31st, Lisa retains counsel for the divorce and files a motion for continuance, and they reset that for May 8th. These are important, by the way, the dates here. You'll see later why. Then May 1st, Scott files for a motion for continuance in the divorce hearing, and it's set for August 7th.
Okay, so he's pushing it out, yeah.
He's pushing it off, okay. June 20th, 2009, Lisa goes to visit her sister, Christine, in Virginia. And, they've been having problems, and the whole family knows it. They know about he's had an affair. She told everybody. They're talking about divorce. And she said that basically Christine was her financial advisor. That's what she does for a living. So she was Lisa's financial advisor. She said, I need to make some changes on my life insurance policy. Yeah. She said that at this point, it was $450,000. Yeah. And it's split 50-50 between Scott and Dylan.
Yeah.
And she said, I'd like to take Scott off of it and make everything go to Dylan as the beneficiary, if that's possible. Yeah. And so her sister did that for her, and all that stuff. Okay. Now, Lucy said that Christine, Lisa's sister, mailed paperwork to give to Lisa to change the beneficiary from Scott to Dylan, and Lucy said that she gave Lisa the paperwork on June 20th, and she believed that they were going to get a divorce, and that's how it was going. So she's basically pulling everything away. But the thing is that the hearing had been postponed till August 7th, and the family didn't know this, and the lawyer had even refunded her retainer, which is weird.
Oh.
Lawyers usually, once you give them money, that's their money. They're not giving that back usually.
No.
That's gone. Nothing. No, if you got leftover retainer, you got to be like, I don't know, write me up a couple cease and desists for me, will you? Because I'm getting my money's worth, homie.
Yeah. That's basically a gift card.
Yeah. There's a dude in Arizona that's got about $400 of mine still that I haven't used. Because I had to do it to sue that fucking asshole car dealership people who tried to fuck me over. Yeah. I couldn't drive my car for 6 months. That was fun. You ever buy a car and then have 3 weeks later have them call you and go, you need to bring that back because we didn't have the legal right to sell it to you.
We weren't allowed to sell that to you. That wasn't ours. Well, I don't know what to tell you.
At this point, Wells Fargo thinks it's mine, so we got a problem.
The lien on it says it's mine, doggy.
Yeah, that was a mess, dude. So late June 2009, Scott is at work and he's telling an employee of his that he and Lisa were not getting along and it was really difficult having her living there while the divorce is being finalized. Huh. It's difficult that we're, still living together I wish we were apart, basically.
I mean, divorces aren't forever.
Yeah, it's weird. So now Dylan also thought the marriage was over at this point because he said that Lisa had put away all the marriage photos.
Oh.
She put away, she took down the fucking wedding pictures and shit. She took down her Beauty and the Beast reception and everything. That shit is over once the pictures are coming down.
Dylan's walking through the hall to empty photo frames.
Yeah, with bright white with fucking darker around them.
Nothing in it.
Nothing around them. And the house was put up for sale. So Dylan thought the divorce is moving along just fine, and that's how it works here. And Stacy Henderson also is told by Scott that the divorce is going through.
Yeah.
Because they're still having a hot and heavy affair here. Jesus. Now, July 2nd, 2009 comes around, and it is exactly 12:14 p.m.
Okay.
And 911 receives a call.
That's how we know what time it is.
And it is Scott.
Yeah.
And Scott says, quote, my wife has had an accident at home.
Uh-oh.
Which is not good, by the way.
Never.
We've talked about the 911 analysis. They do tons of post-after-the-fact analysis of 911 calls of people are guilty or not guilty.
Yeah.
And usually when people haven't done anything to cause anybody's injury, they usually say, my wife is hurt. This is what's wrong with her. Right. Like, she's hurt. She's bleeding from here. This is happening. She's conscious. She's unconscious. Here's our address. Here's the facts you need to get me help.
Yeah, and I'm a man checking one of the 4 causes of death already.
Yeah. This guy to go, my wife has had, if you get on 911 and immediately building a narrative of what happened, that's not important right now. So that's sometimes normal people do it, that they're just, they're a little too voluble and that's what they do. But a lot of times it's a bad sign. So he calls, by the way, saying my wife has had an accident at home. He's not at home while he's calling.
Oh.
He's in his pickup truck driving, and he calls and says this because he's got her in the back of the extended cab.
Oh.
and he's driving to a hospital. That's what he does.
Okay. All right. Well, I could see that being a thing then. If I cut my hand on a fucking roto saw and somebody throws me in the back of the truck and starts calling the ambulance saying prep the OR.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get it.
I'm on the way. Well, he said I need an escort or something to get to the hospital quicker. Like I need a cop to come take me or some shit. So that's what he said right away. And 911 said, okay, what kind of accident has she had?
Right.
Let's get back to your wife rather than I need an escort. So he said I found her in a workout room with bars on top of her. And he said, she's blue. She's not breathing. And that's what he's telling them. So he wanted a police escort. And they said, well, where is she? She's in the back of my pickup truck, basically. Yeah. In the back, in the cab part. Yeah. Like not with my nail guns in the bed.
Right. not with the cord of wood for the winter.
If he just threw her in the bed, that would have been wild.
Throw a tarp over and keep warm. We're right.
Yeah. And he said at the time, when the cops got to him, he said, I probably should have called 911 earlier, but at the time I just didn't, whatever. I just panicked. I picked her up and carried her upstairs and threw her in my truck. Didn't even think about it. He said, as I was backing out of the driveway, I called 911 and I was on the road when I was talking to you. So a few minutes after he calls, an ambulance and a police officer intercept his truck en route to the hospital. And you can watch the footage of this too.
Really?
He pulls over, hops out of the car, opens the extended cab door. Really? And he's like, hey, help out here. Yeah. Lisa is placed in the ambulance and taken to the hospital. Okay. Now, Scott says, I had my flashers on, and during that period, I was turning the corner, and my wife was in the back seat, and she fell onto the floor.
Jesus.
This poor woman is back there laying across those seats, and she's on the floor. Yeah. So he said it's hard to drive and pay attention to, and it's, quote, hard to drive and respect the body.
Not a good thing to say.
The body.
Yeah.
Not my wife. My wife's the body.
Whoa.
That's wild. And said when he saw the ambulance, he rolled down his window and pulled over to the curb. Yeah. And I guess so. We don't have any fucking idea here. But he tells the paramedics start trying to perform CPR on her right away. He tells the paramedics, hey, don't bother with CPR. I already tried.
Dude.
Oh, don't bother. Yeah. Or tried and fucking failed. Don't worry about it. Huh?
I'm the best, and it didn't work. So.
It didn't work. He goes, yeah, I know how to do it, so it's fine. What are you fucking talking about? Don't even bother is crazy.
You're saying a lot of bad things, Scott.
She's fucked, man. Just let it go. Are you nuts? What the hell is wrong with you? Obviously, they're going to try to save this poor woman's life. Jesus Christ. So, Grant County Sheriff's Department medical personnel place her in an ambulance. They take her to Marion General Hospital. She arrives at 12:44. So it's a half hour after that 911 call is made. Wow. Resuscitation efforts continue, but she is pronounced dead at 12:49 p.m.
5 minutes later. That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. They said the medical personnel couldn't find a pulse on her from the time they retrieved her from the truck. They said she didn't have a pulse the entire time.
Yeah, it was half an hour without a pulse, probably.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
They said she had already been down too long at that point, one doctor said. There was nothing we could do to save her. She was pronounced dead. The crime scene, one of the state investigators here, found a bruise on her neck and an abrasion on her left shoulder. Mm-hmm. And they said that, I'll tell you what his story is in a minute here, but he said it looked like she died from a tragic accident. That's what they thought. It looked just awful. Now, at the hospital, Scott, by the way, we said he's been saying some weird shit.
Yeah.
He continues to really.
Boy. Yeah. Did you watch all the worst interrogations and worst?
Yeah, he's like, that guy. See, that's the problem here. He's not saying enough. He really needs to talk more.
I saw a compilation of terrible things to say, and I'm going to say them all.
I'm going to say them all right now. Jesus. So Lisa's mother, Lucy, oh, fuck, man. She said Scott called her at home from the hospital and told her to come to Marion General Hospital. He just said, come to Marion General Hospital. She said, why? Obviously.
Yeah.
He said, quote, they just pronounced your daughter dead.
Jesus Christ, man.
Fuck, man. That is. Wow.
Fucking hell,
They were just messing with the body, you might as well have said. Like, they just pronounced your daughter dead.
Your daughter dead.
That's what. Come to the hospital. Why? Because they just pronounced your daughter dead. She said, she was like, what the fuck? She said, what happened? And he just hung up on her. He didn't even answer.
As a father, somebody said, I'm going to beat the I don't care about, I'm beating the living shit out of you.
You better be able to do Jean Claude Van Damme moves because I'm coming for you. You better be able to do split kicks because I'm going to fuck you up.
You don't break that news to me like that. How dare you?
Absolutely not. That is wild. They just pronounced your daughter dead. You motherfucker.
Well, I'm going to take something out
Wow.
of it.
Yeah, Jesus. Now, the family right away, they're like, what the fuck? Because she's in her prime of her life. She's 72. She was born. She's 37, for Christ's sake. I mean, she's doing fine.
You rarely get pronounced dead at 37.
Unless something crazy happens. Right. She's in good health, too. Her death was categorized as unattended at the time. Right. So the police had to look at it before they could rule it an accident. And people don't realize this, but any time there's a dead body, the homicide police are the first people to look it over before they have to judge it. It's not a homicide before anything else can be done. So if you kill yourself and it's obviously a suicide, if you're an old man who hasn't talked to anyone in 20 years and you blow your brains out in the apartment, homicide detectives will make sure nobody killed you first. That's a thing that happens always. So they have to look it over. But they said it. What could it be? They said she was home alone, working out, and her husband comes home from lunch and finds her in the basement with the weight bar from the weight machine across her throat, dead. That's his story. I said, I came home. There she was. What are you going to do? And they do a little investigating and they start looking into this, and it's kind of interesting here. Yeah. They said the one detective told the other, I got a case we need to work on. I want you to help me out here. It's, it's a woman here. She worked at the local mall, and her friends and family are, I don't know, something's a little weird here. So they bring Scott aside in the ambulance bay and get a little recorded statement from him. He explained what happened. He said he came home from work at lunch to shower. He wanted to shower and eat lunch before an afternoon doctor's appointment for his bad aching back.
Yeah, and you don't roof and then go take your shirt off for somebody.
No, you're going to be
You're
disgusting.
an asshole for that.
Yeah, so he's smart for doing that. And Lisa had taken the day off today, and she was, hanging out. Yeah. He said, that's when I saw this was going back. He said he saw her. He said he lifted the weight off of her and started CPR. So he lifted up the bar off of her. The bar had 104 pounds on it, by the way. So it's 100 pounds plus the small bar. So 104 pounds. And he said that he'd been trained in CPR, but he couldn't revive her. That's what happened. So the cop said, they have to take it at face value at this point. The husband said he found her at home, barbell across her throat. The injuries that we see, the bruising across her, seems consistent with that. Looks like it. Sure. Yeah. They said maybe. So they said it looks like a fucking terrible accident. They said, let's do some clean up paperwork, basically, and then, move on to the next thing. So they didn't, though. They said, let's bring him down for an interview, too. We want to talk to him. And they do a physical check of him. No injuries on his face, arms, or hands. No scratches, no bruises, no obvious defensive somebody fighting him off or anything like that. That's a good sign.
Sure. Right
away that he's innocent here. They go through the house with a camcorder. They say it's in pristine condition. Yeah. No messes, except for probably Dylan's room, obviously.
Yeah. Don't go in there. It smells like onions.
Don't go in there. It smells like a teenager's ball sack. You don't want that. So none of that going on. They said no forced entry whatsoever. So it just looks like it is what it is. So they say, all right, what are you doing here? They photograph Scott. They find nothing under his shirt, no bruises, no marks, no anything like that. They sit him down.
Yeah, that weight bench is about to have a giant fucking lawsuit.
A big lawsuit and a huge disclaimer sticker on it there.
You betcha.
They're going to lose more money.
You're about to have to saw a tag off of that machine every time you buy it.
They're going to lose more money than the Peloton CEO. I read an article there that he went from having billions of dollars to selling his watches now. He's like having a terrible time. Had to sell his house and shit. It's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, talking of the interview with that guy too. He was like, then that Sex and the City thing happened, and it was
all over from there.
That was it, man. It was over. So they said that Scott tells the sheriffs here that the morning of the death, he got up just before 5 a.m., kissed Lisa goodbye, and ran to the landfill before returning home at about 6:30 a.m. to pick up Dylan and another employee for work. So Dylan works with him now. So he picks up Dylan and because it's July, picks up Dylan, picks up somebody else, and they head out, the three of them, to the job site. Scott said that later that morning he ran a few errands before returning home at about 11:30 a.m. He said he couldn't find Lisa, so he went downstairs, and that's when he saw the horrible sight of his wife. He said, quote, she was purple. She was totally purple, and her arms were dropped down to her side.
Yikes.
Now, the cop said that he was really, really troubled by the fact that he told 911 not to send the ambulance because he already gave her CPR and not to try CPR on her because what's the point? He said, that's really weird because people they'll take fucking Old Dirty Bastard documentary I just watched, okay? He was dead. He died in the recording studio, died on the fucking floor.
Did he really?
In front of everybody, in front of most of the Wu-Tang Clan and other people and his daughter and his wife. Everybody came.
Really?
And his wife was trying to fucking get him to wake up, and he'd been dead for a fucking hour there. And they're like, he's cold. It's over. And she's like, no, I just need to get him to wake up.
Reanimate him.
That's what people do when someone they love is... They don't believe it. We can fix it. We can fix it. We can fix denial. It's the first grief.
He has 108 different names. Keep saying them until he answers to one of them.
Just keep saying it. Call him Ason. Maybe that'll work. I don't fucking know.
Call him Dirt Dog. That's the new one.
Call him old Dirt Dog. Try that. Maybe that'll work. Dirt McGirt. Try that one. He likes that one for a while. I don't know.
Run Dirt anything.
Dirt anything.
Call him anything.
Talk about gonorrhea. He liked gonorrhea. He talked about it all the time. So they're a little bit, weirded out by this. And they go through it a few times. He said, found her down in the exercise room. He said he came home at 11:30, entered the house at 11:45, saw her in the room. And then he also told Dylan outside after he talked to the cops that he got home between 11:30 and 11:45. So in all of his stories to three different cops and the kid, that's all consistent.
Stays the same. Yeah.
Stays the same, which that's good here. He said, I found her, the weight bar across her throat. Yeah. And the machine I'm going to read the description, consists of a bar on which weights can be placed with the system of guide bars along which a weight bar could be lifted up and down. So you put the weight on it and
Okay, but it's got a track?
Yeah, I think so, because it goes, So they said the weight bar could be locked into place at several points along the guide bars. Right. A person could use the machine while standing or lying on a bench under the weight bar. There's different ways to use it. It's a machine. So he said he administered CPR. That didn't help. So he put Lisa in the truck, drove to the hospital, called 911. About the machine, they said, did she work out on this all the time, or was this a new thing for her? And he said that she used it millions of times before. Millions.
She's very well aware how to use this.
Yeah, into it. Now, a detective said they found the weightlifting machine was set at 140 pounds. I don't know why I said 104. 140 pounds. And Scott told him that 140 pounds was, quote, probably about the maximum that she's done. So she's really maxing out. She's really ripping it off today. Yeah. So he said that he and Lisa, because they said, is your marriage great? Blah, blah, blah. He said, no, we're having marital problems because I had an affair. He said that he also filed for divorce. And he said, though, but that isn't really happening, and we're trying to reconcile. We've been trying to reconcile lately, me and Lisa. So he said, I ended the affair because I didn't want to be with that woman anymore. I wanted to be with my wife and, have a wonderful, wonderful time. But he refused to provide Stacey Henderson's name to the police, by the way. They're like, well, we have an affair. That's not important. He said, I don't want to ruin her. Yeah, he said, I don't want to ruin her life. She's got stuff going on. I'm not going to tell you. Yeah.
Because her husband, her husband. I'm not
You're
going
to know her husband. Yeah. And he's probably going to come in here and beat the shit out of me after that. So
I don't know if he knows.
That's the thing. We don't know if Lisa told the husband or what. So
and
we have no fucking idea.
I do know that Stacy's husband has a gun, and he carries it a lot.
I'm positive that Stacy's husband is armed. Pretty fucking positive.
Yeah.
He also told a person from whom he was purchasing roofing supplies, by the way, later on, when he leaves, he told a person who he bought roofing supplies from that he thought he and Stacy would be together someday.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, through all of this, she'll keep communicating with him, by the way, Stacy.
Really?
So detectives search the house. They go into the house. They search it. Like I said, no forced entry, nothing going on. Mm-hmm. In the garage, they notice a surveillance system.
Oh, that's great.
That helps. That was connected to cameras mounted outside the house. Mm-hmm. The recording system had a slot for a DVD, so they're like, hey, jackpot.
Bingo.
Open the thing, no DVD in there.
Empty. Of course it is.
So they go, fuck. So they figured without the DVD, it probably didn't record anything.
Yeah.
These people probably had more ambition to have security than when it comes down to actually changing a DVD out every day. They didn't want to do it, probably. You know what I mean? Because that's probably very common. Yeah. A lot of people, how many people have security systems that they never arm? They just don't.
And in 2008, the storing to the cloud wasn't a thing.
No.
You had to have a place to record, right?
Yeah, you had to have.
Right?
It was probably the border of it, but it would have been new.
There wasn't a recording security
probably
system
not
that wasn't
like
crazy expensive.
Yes, exactly, like outlandishly, for a business or something.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't $30 a month that you could download it and look at it on your phone. That's for
sure. Not like now. No, not like you can get the wonderful Simply Safe system that we do ads for, and the fucking Simply Safe is great. They send us really good shit. So they talked to Dylan. Mm-hmm. And they say that I guess his mother and Scott told him they were going to work through their problems. So he said the same thing. They told me they were working through their problems, but he said he didn't believe them because the house was up for sale and all the fucking photos were put away. So that didn't seem right. Now he says that day, because they said, well, you were working with your stepfather that day, right? Well, what happened? And he said, well, yeah, we left to go to the site in Swayze that day. Mm-hmm. And he said that Scott was at the site for a short period of time before he left, which Scott said he ran errands and then went home. At lunchtime, Dylan said that he and some of his coworkers took a break and went to a restaurant where Scott's sister Sharon worked. Okay. When Dylan came out of the restroom at the restaurant, one of the workers informed him that Scott's sister, had run out of the restaurant and instructed him to have Dylan call Scott tell Dylan when he comes out of the bathroom to call Scott. Okay. So he called Scott and he was told to go to the Marion General Hospital, but he wouldn't say why. Dylan said he did seem a little upset, which that should be an understatement, but yeah. When he arrived at the hospital, that's when Dylan said he found out that his mother was dead. So he came from roofing to that. And he said, I fell to my knees. I was lost. I was so confused. He just didn't know. They asked Dylan, well, did your mom use that machine a lot? And he said, I saw her use it once.
Oh.
I only saw her use it once. And that was when Scott was spotting her, too.
Oh.
Like Scott was helping her with it and spotting her. So he said that she preferred to work out with small hand weights while she used the treadmill or step machine.
Aerobic shit.
Yeah, cardio. Right. That's what she's doing. She's not trying to fucking. They said, "Do you
bulking?" She's dropping.
No. They said, "You think your mom could bench 140?" And he was like, "Fuck no, my mom can't bench 140." Shit no. I'm a roofer and I can't bench 140. He's probably saying. So he said that, quote, she wasn't like a woman that could bench like 35 pounds on each side. Like she couldn't do that. She used like 5-pound hand weights, and she's not a big bulky person. Right. She's just not. She's pretty small. Now the police send over an inspector somebody to inspect the machine and determine what happened. Basically, is this possible to find out? So they determined that this machine had not seen a lot of use based on the different components of it
and shit. Yeah.
And judging by the lack of wear and tear. And they also said the machine had no mechanical failures that he could detect at all. Yeah. They said she was apparently lifting this weight, and the coroner said that, she has no medical issues, and they said she's in fairly good condition. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. The police officer learned that Lisa had been working out on a Smith machine. That's what this weight machine is, which uses a barbell fixed to steel railings that's used to help control the weight and offer built-in safety features like hooking the bar into specially designed spots along the frame.
Yeah, all you got to do is roll it, and it locks in.
So it doesn't go too far. Yeah. They did note that 2 safety stoppers, which would have provided extra protection, were not in place in there.
Oh, no.
That's not good. But even without the extra safety features, they said that it seemed like Lisa should have been able to wiggle free from under the bar if she got stuck, at least slide out sideways and fall on the fucking floor. So they said they should have been able to do that. They said when they did all of this, they noticed 2 things right away. When the detective laid down on the bench as it was set up, the bar lined up with his chest, the correct alignment for lifting.
Not neck.
But not his neck. Or no, I'm sorry, it didn't line up with his chest. It lined up with his neck.
Oh.
He said, so that's weird. They said if you complete the lift, it would align with the body in this fashion, the bar on the throat that matched there. Which matched his story exactly, by the way, because that's what he said. So the investigator also made a note of a circular smudge on the center of the bar itself. It had that spot had been left by Lisa's neck, and he said it looked like body oil or perhaps sweat.
Sweat, yeah.
On it. Mm-hmm. So they said that it was in contact with her at some point. So they said, did they think that was the part of the bar that made contact? And he said, the cop said it appeared that to be that's what it did, and that fit with the husband's account too.
Right.
He said when investigator Page tried the machine, it seemed to be in working order. He couldn't make it fail accidentally. Mm-hmm. Once in use, the bar fell fairly easily to re-rack and secure using a hook in the holes along the frame. He said, as you complete your repetitions, once you're complete, you rotate your wrists and these hooks engage.
Yep.
They said maybe something important was the safety stoppers, which would have had extra protection. They they were just sitting there not being in place.
That's not good.
They said when you're engaged, it's much safer. They said if they're not in place, you don't have that protection, no safety stop. So if the bar had slipped while in use, it could have plummeted under her neck with a lot of force, with 140 pounds worth of force, if her hand slipped off it.
Fucking neck.
And crushed her throat.
Yeah.
So they said this will make it fall down like a guillotine, theoretically.
Right.
He said it could be a fatal accident, and the cop said, oh, yeah, I would certainly consider it fatal if 140 pounds on a bar falls across your throat. And they said it might just be exactly that. They said nothing screams anything but accident at this point. They said nothing. The only thing we have is we have to wait for the medical examiner. Maybe he'll have other thoughts, but at this point, looks pretty fucking accidental to me, It's all storylines up. So the day after Lisa dies, the next fucking day, Scott calls Lisa's sister, Christine, to ask about the life insurance policy. Yeah.
24 hours.
The way she put it, Christine, he was stunned to learn that Lisa had named Dylan her sole beneficiary. He didn't know. So on the
there is one. Your name's not on it.
Yeah, yeah, it's not. Oh, yeah, she has a policy, but not for you.
Well, here it is.
On the same day, he texted Stacy Henderson and asked about Henderson's husband and said, so is he trying to get closer to you since I'm free now? Free now. Free. And then he said, that's a sick way to say it, I guess.
You guess?
You think, dude? Wow.
I can't think of much sicker.
That is fucking sick. And then in the next couple days, Scott's going to ask for guardianship over Dylan.
Oh, because he's got the fucking money.
Yeah, that's exactly. He's got $450,000 coming to him. A judge agreed to allow Dylan to decide where he wants to live.
Hell yeah,
since
17.
he'll be 18 in a week and a half. By
the way. Possibly the worst news that Scott's ever heard in his life.
Terrible. All fucking one blow after another here.
I've got 9 days to make this kid love me. This is a movie.
Maybe he'll choose me. Yeah, it is. 9 days until the kid gets his fucking inheritance. He chose to move to Virginia to live with his aunt and uncle.
Yeah, of course he did.
And he wanted to finish high school, though, with his friends, but he started his senior year in Virginia instead. He said it was the hardest decision of my life.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, friends and family are not buying this accident shit at all. They question whether or why Lisa would have been on the weight bench, and considering she always did cardio when working out, not weightlifting, because she suffered a neck injury a couple years earlier, and it made it very difficult for her to lift heavy objects.
Yeah, that nerve damage will fuck your life up, man.
Fucks everything up. So they said, why was she doing that? Her sister said that, Lisa liked to work out, but she was, quote, a treadmill girl, not a weightlifter. Yeah, or cardio. She was doing treadmill, doing more aerobic stuff. And Leah said the same thing. Leah said Lisa couldn't lift heavy things, not with the neck injury she suffered a couple of years earlier in a car accident. So she said, this is crazy. She goes on to say even the holiday ornaments in the mall storage room were too much for her to lift.
Oh, my God, that's damning.
She said, I did the lifting of the boxes, the other woman. So she said, yeah, I did all that. I'm like the weight machine. I like the weight machine. She doesn't lift weights.
Right.
So they also, sister and friends, said they thought Scott was self-centered and too hard on Dylan. And also then they found out he was having an affair, and they liked him even less. So
he's kind of a dick.
They talked to Jerry Young, who's Lisa's father, who now lives in New Mexico. And he said many people are suffering the loss of his daughter. He said the family supports the investigators and whatever they need. He said we are, as a family, behind prosecuting the person who did this, if it was anybody. Right. He said he doesn't know, though. He said the worst part of this whole thing is not knowing. It's so maddening and it's so sad. Somebody or something took her life for whatever reason, and we have to sit here and wait. We want closure. Now, first thing that comes up is, was it the weight loss drugs that did this?
Oh.
Because the cops find out a Dr. Roger Frazier, who practiced in Hartford City, which I didn't know was a town in Indiana.
God damn it, I know way too many Indiana towns.
He said he prescribed a capsule and a tablet to Lisa to suppress her appetite.
Oh.
Lisa had been seeing this doctor for weight loss since about 2002, and he said between July 2002 and July 2009, she had visited his office 12 times to get weight loss pills.
Wow.
He said he was unaware if Lisa was getting diet pills from any other doctor, and he also didn't know of any side effects she was having from the drugs. The drug she's taking is phentermine, Phentermine.
Yeah,
and
people
it's,
mostly call it phetermine. They don't put that N in there.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's in there, though. It's used with doctor-approved exercise, behavior change, and reduced calorie diet program to help you lose weight. It's used by certain overweight people, such as those who are obese and have weight-related medical problems, which she doesn't.
It's an aggressive pill.
That's a lot,
for a normal-weighted woman.
Is that like non-kill you fen? Is that what that is? Because it's got the PHEN. So I think that's what I figure. They said here it can help lessen the risks of obesity, heart disease, all that. They said it's not known how this medication helps people to lose weight. It may work by decreasing your appetite, increasing the amount of energy used by your body, or affecting certain parts of the brain. It's an appetite suppressant. So there we go. So they're waiting for the medical examiner is all they're doing here. Okay. Wabash County Sheriff Leroy Stryker, which is a great... Jesus, Stryker is the guy from Airplane. That's Ted Stryker, Leroy Stryker. He says that he's waiting. He said, we're still following up and investigating and trying to tie up loose ends. He said, right now, we don't want to speculate. We don't want to make assumptions as to the investigation. He said, by the way, they just followed up and have search warrants for Scott's phone records, computer records, and all that stuff.
Uh-oh.
He said, we just want to make sure we leave no stone unturned in our investigation. He said, these types of things take time. He said, we're working hard to prove that either foul play was involved or foul play wasn't involved.
Right.
That's it. Just trying to get it on there. The results of the toxicology test showed that, maybe that'll help as well here. So the Grant County coroner hasn't issued a cause of death yet. And he says, quote, I'm not rushing into it.
No?
Fucking get it done, dude. What are you doing?
I got some things to do. I
got other stuff. I got a vacation ahead of me. He said, I'm not going to release it until I'm confident that everything's been done. Okay. He said, I want that final autopsy report in my hand before I do anything further. Okay. Now, the cops find out something else very interesting.
Uh-oh.
Detective Michael Davis, same cop from before, states that he found out that in 2001, the Wabash County Sheriff's Department received a report from somebody who called to tell on Scott that Scott had approached them and approached other people looking for a person to kill Lisa.
Oh, Scott.
That is 8 years ago that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been in his mind for a bit here,
Nearly
apparently.
a decade.
Yeah, they said that the report is 8 years old, and it's you can't just arrest a guy on that. That's just it's too stale.
But murder shopping is crazy.
Who the fuck does that? You know what I mean? So apparently he couldn't find anybody. An affidavit also by Leah Frazier here said that Frazier told Leah told the cop that Lisa had told Leah 6 to 8 months ago that Lisa had put an internet tracking software on Scott's computer because he'd been having an affair.
Yeah.
She related as of January 2009, the program was still on his computer. And so, that might be possible too. So she knows what he was doing.
Wow.
Finally, medical examiner comes back. Okay. Lisa's body had bruising near her neck and cuts and scrapes along the bridge of her nose and on her left shoulder. Oh. They said those likely happened when she was still alive because there were signs of bleeding, and bleeding only happens when the heart is still pumping, obviously. Mm-hmm. So he said that the barbell may have injured her jugular vein, which is located on either side of the neck and helps carry blood from the brain to the heart. If the blood supply from the jugular to the heart is cut off, a person will black out, obviously, and eventually die. So depending on how long a person can hold their breath, blacking out could come between 15 seconds and 2 minutes of the jugular being injured. They said her cause of death was asphyxiation due to neck compression.
Okay.
That's important. Compression, not a slam.
Right.
They said she also had signs of petechia, which is not good.
Suffocating, right.
Suffocating.
That means she's alive and struggling.
Small purple or red marks on various parts of her body. There it is here. They questioned whether that would happen if because they said, what if a 240-pound person sat on her stomach? Would that cause that in the back and there? Yeah. And he said the more weight, the more potential for petechia.
Well, we have to strangle somebody to find out.
That's it. Well, hey, come on up. Who wants to volunteer? Where's the intern? So he also said that petechia had to develop while she's still alive. Her heart has to be beating. Petechiae themselves are formed when someone is alive. The toxicology report shows she had signs of an antidepressant and a weight loss drug in her system, levels of both in the therapeutic range. Yep. They said drugs didn't contribute to Lisa Patterson's death. Okay. So they came up with an additional finding, that is the petechia all the way down, she had that. Then also they said what appeared to be bruises all the way on like her back and her ribs and shit like that too, which is interesting. In addition to that, they determined that she'd been dead for 2 to 3 hours when she was pronounced dead at the hospital as well.
That's a good reason to tell him, don't even bother.
Don't even bother. Yeah, he would have said she's ice cold and rigor setting in at this point.
Super dead.
So they noted that the neck injury was not consistent with the weight bar falling on her neck at a high rate of speed because her larynx, trachea, and voice box had been compressed but not crushed.
All intact.
They said if a 140-pound came down like a guillotine, that would have broken those things.
Yeah. Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you earn cash back at over 3,500 stores. Fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, concert tickets, and more. Your favorite stores like Lowe's, Levi's, and Nike pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. And Rakuten then passes on a part of that payment to its members as cash back. You're already shopping at your favorite stores. Why not save while you're doing it? It's a no-brainer. Membership is free and easy to sign up. Get the Rakuten app now and join the 17 million members who are already saving. Cashback rates change daily. See Rakuten.com for details. That's Rakuten. Your cashback really adds up.
Escape reality and immerse yourself in a gripping tale of mystery, murder, and romance with June's Journey. Join June as she unravels the truth behind her sister's mysterious death and use your observation skills to find hidden clues and uncover dark secrets. Plus, you get to explore stunning hidden object scenes, from New York parlors to Parisian sidewalks, as each chapter reveals captivating mysteries. How sharp are your observation skills? Put them to the test in June's Journey. Download for free today on iOS and Android.
They said that in In his opinion, the weight bar could not have fallen more than an inch or two without resulting in far greater injuries than were present. So ridiculous. They also said that her death was caused by asphyxiation due to compression of the weight on her neck, and noted the presence of petechia, ruptured blood vessels caused by pressure on her back, and concluded that that was not caused by the weight bar either. Instead, the petechiae were consistent with a person straddling Lisa's torso or with a great weight being placed on her torso.
That is fucked up.
To sit on her chest and push the weight bar
staring
over her.
Right in her fucking eyes.
Right in her eyes. Right in her fucking eyes.
My God.
So they said she had been, he said, I believe she died before 10 a.m. Now, as part of the investigation, the medical examiner asked police to investigate the weight machine being used. And he went on to say, I felt a healthy woman should have been able to get out of a weight machine with 100 pounds of weight on her. And he said so. And then they said he was even more suspicious, the cop said, after learning there were at least 7 ways to escape the weight on the machine. Different ways you can get out.
Yeah.
Anywhere basically put down your chin. You can roll up it. You can roll it so it's on your chest instead of that.
There are 7 ways to get out because Smith doesn't want lawsuits.
So, yeah, reactions to her death here, obviously. Leah Frazier is very upset. She says it was a great loss to a lot of people at the mall, too, in addition to just her. July 15th, 2009, the police get a very interesting phone call. An employee of Koorsen, Koorsen, the company that installed the surveillance system at the Patterson home, called the cops. Called the detectives and said that the system recorded to an internal hard drive, actually. And that the DVD slot was used only to transfer a recording from the hard drive to a DVD. So you only needed that if you wanted to make a DVD of what you had.
He didn't know.
Nope.
Somebody didn't know.
Well, he does because, they get a search warrant for the surveillance system, seize that from the house here. Now, the recording that they find, which is interesting, we'll find out some shit about the recording as well. It showed he returned home several hours prior to the time he told police. The surveillance video shows him returning home at 8:32 a.m., as a matter of fact. The cameras also recorded him entering and exiting the house, walking around outside of the house at 9:56, 10:03, 10:07, and 11:38. She's dead all through those, by the way. Walking around, whatever, talking on the phone especially. The video, by the way, shows him wearing shorts at one point and pants at another point. He changes clothes in there, too. In addition, the phone records indicate that several calls he made between 9:57 and 12:14 p.m. were at or near his house as well.
Holy shit.
Then they find out about the texts. Then the texts come in. The day Lisa died, he sent, he and Stacy exchanged, 130 text messages that day.
That affair is bubbling.
Wow. 130 back and fucking forth, including a 3-letter text, which they won't know. I can't ever find out what the 3 letters are, but he sent her a 3-letter text while he was in the car waiting for the ambulance to come with the cops on the line.
What do you want to bet? It's 143.
So, holy shit. They reveal that on that day they had Stacy was on vacation that day, by the way. She was away on vacation. Her husband's like sitting next to her on a beach and she's trying to act normal. Oh, my boyfriend killed his wife, and she's in a fucking back of the truck, and
he texted me ILY.
Yeah, probably. So they said on the timeline, you can see that not only, by the way, Stacy's the person on the receiving end of the 10 a.m. call when he's walking around outside his house,
what
too.
The hell?
Yep. And but she's also getting text messages from him saying that he's at the wheel while he's at the wheel driving his dead wife to the hospital. So they don't like any of this shit.
No.
Here. July 22nd, 2009, court dismisses a divorce petition because you can't divorce a dead person. That's there. So September 23rd, a grand jury is called as a fact-finding. Let's find out what happened. Scott is called to testify. He's the target here. Sure. He invokes his right not to testify, though, takes the fifth. in the grand jury. By the way,
the death of your wife.
The local newspaper has it, quote, he revokes his right not to testify, which is definitely not wrong or not correct. That is so bad.
Wow.
So September 28th, 5 days later, Scott is indicted by the grand jury and arrested and charged with murder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the similarities between Scott Peterson and Scott Peterson, including wives with L-word wives, Lacey, Lisa, the same. It's fucking remarkable. They're all it's fucking crazy, honestly. And there's so many people that think this Scott is innocent as fuck, just like that Scott.
Really?
People, it's called this, the cops, homicide detectives call it the CSI effect.
Yeah.
Where people, because of TV now, they go into a courtroom. They've been watching TV the whole time. They expect to see, here's the murder weapon, here's fingerprints on it. They expect to see, we have DNA, it's here, DNA's there, he's got his jizz on that. If you don't have DNA and all this physical evidence, people are like, oh, well, he's innocent, clearly.
Everybody licks the crime scene.
Yeah, who doesn't fucking leave jizz at the crime scene? So, not guilty, he pleads here, and a trial date is set for the next year. And this is, you're going to wonder why I'm telling you this, but you'll know in about 2 seconds. Jerry Druck is going to represent Scott Peterson. He's an attorney. Okay, or Scott Peterson. See, I'm calling him Peterson now.
Jerry Druck.
December 1st, 2009, month and a half later, Jerry Druck is charged with 2 counts of trafficking with an inmate.
What?
After police say he took, listen, this is fucking amazing, to Scott, he took him gum, gummy worms, and mail.
Why is he asking for that?
Trafficking with an inmate. Trafficking gummy worms. He trafficked gummy worms.
Some gummy worms.
I took gummy worms into the wrong place, man. You know how that goes.
Are they weed gummies?
No, they're just gummy worms.
Regular ass gummy
gum, Trident, fucking Haribo, and his mail.
And
you're going to jail.
And his water
Jerry.
bill.
Jerry's going to jail.
Wow.
They put a motion to suppress, requesting that video surveillance from the home not be shown during the trial. You know, the evidence that says he was lying to the cops and actually home while his wife was dead.
What grounds would they have not to introduce that?
That's the thing. Well, they say that the prosecutor says that, obviously we should be allowed, but they're saying they shouldn't be allowed because the way the guy, we'll talk about in more detail later, but the way the employee of the company called the cops, apparently they're saying that was some sort of hearsay. It's a real technical fucking thing here. The defense attorneys filed a motion to suppress because they said the search warrant was based on uncorroborated hearsay information and that the video equipment was illegally seized.
Oh.
Yeah. The judge hears about all this stuff and then says, get the fuck out of here with that. Obviously, we're showing the video.
It wasn't illegally seized. They produced it and gave it to us.
It's
not like a cop broke into a building, fucking Mission Impossible style.
No,
recorded him. Yeah, pulled a fucking DVD out of a fucking library wall.
No,
they called and said, "Hey, I got a murderer murdering people. You guys want this?
You might want this. I think here." So July 17th, 2010, there is a tree and a bench dedicated to Lisa at the 5 Points Mall.
That's nice.
So it's nice. You can see it here. It's even got a picture of her on it, Lisa Young Patterson. And it's got a picture of her on there. And it's very nice. There's a tree behind, nice bench. Many, many, many 57-year-old men will sit there while their wives shop. That's how that's going to work.
Or sit there while their wives walk around the mall listening to Frank Sinatra on their Walkman.
I'm not a wall walker. I'm not doing it. So they said a bench with her photo and words, Lisa Young Patterson, forever in our hearts, will be dedicated in the mall along with trees and flowers. And they said that this is her sister. She had such a beautiful smile and funny laugh, a great laugh. She just made her happy. She just made you happy.
Is that indoors or outdoors?
Indoors.
Oh, an indoor tree. I fucking love an indoor tree.
Oh, yeah, that's some mall shit right there.
Pinnacle of fucking dominating nature.
Pissing on nature, yeah.
We'll air condition a fucking oak. Watch this.
Don't give a shit, yeah. Oh, shit. They said a fund will be set up in Patterson's memory to help with community projects. It's called Lisa's Giving Smiles Foundation. And artwork will be sold to raise funds for yet-to-be-named community projects here. So, yeah, her mother said, I just know Lisa was thought of, and I just know Lisa was so thought of in this community, but I didn't know how much. So that's nice. Scott wants a change of venue. He's like, with all these trees and benches being put up, I feel like I'm not going to get treated fairly here.
Yeah, they're doing back-to-school shopping around the tree planted in my wife's honor. I can't do this.
And then coming in for jury duty the next day. This is not good.
Wearing their new Nikes.
The judge denies the change of venue. Says, nope, we're good here, I think. Yeah, that's okay.
Everybody outfitted with zoomies is looking at you.
So as Scott's leaving the courtroom here, because he's out on bond or whatever, they say, do you have anything to say? And he says, not at this time. They say, did you kill Lisa? And he says, no, I did not. Which is the lack of contractions that we knew he was going to say.
Guilty motherfucker.
He said, how can you prove you're innocent? Yeah. And he said, time will tell.
I cannot.
I cannot. The judge puts an order in saying that Scott isn't allowed to have any direct or indirect contact with anybody but his attorneys during the trial. He's not allowed to talk to his family at all because a lot of them are witnesses. So not allowed to talk to anybody until the court tells him he can, once everybody's been already testified. Now, there's a juror who gives an insanely in-depth interview after this fucking deeper, and other than jurors that write books, you never hear this much about the jury process. And I just found this interesting, so I'm going to put some of this in the beginning and then some at the end here. So they said jury members were restricted from cell phone use, as well as reading about the case in the newspaper or watching coverage on television, which is pretty standard. The juror said, we could do no research on the case at all, which I did not. Don't look on the internet to look up the case or follow the case, they said. He said following the guidelines wasn't easy, but he did it. He said, I wasn't a big news follower in the beginning, but once you get chosen, it's like, well, you can't have candy. Well, now you want candy. I can't look at that. Why not? He said, so you're not allowed to have the news, but now you want the news. I followed the guidelines 100%. I didn't want to have to stand in front of a judge and have him say, Mr. Wampler, you caused a mistrial because you heard something on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his defense. Okay. Here we go. Stanley Campbell is his attorney here. They are going to start with saying that the affair with Stacy wasn't as big a deal as the prosecution's going to make it out to be.
Okay.
Not a big deal. He's like, that was just, he had a little affair and it was over and he was still talking, but so what? He loved his wife. So don't even get that in your head. Don't get it twisted, which is the same as Scott Peterson going. He was just having a little fling with Amber and it's the same thing.
Yeah, but he texted her 100 and something times.
130 times.
In the day she died. I haven't texted anybody that many times ever.
Do you think Scott Peterson texted Amber Fry 130 times the day Lacey went missing? Probably not.
I'll bet he didn't, no.
I bet he fucking didn't here. So they also point to the weightlifting machine's bench may have been inadvertently positioned so that the bar came down on her neck rather than her chest. That's also part of the defense. Also that Lisa may have inadvertently overdosed on her prescription medications, which could have caused a cardiac problem that accidentally resulted in her dropping the weight bar and having it fall on her. They said there's no evidence that he was thinking about killing his wife or that he was going to kill his wife for Stacy, for another woman. There's no evidence about that. What about all the text messages? They said, quote, just routine chit-chat.
Okay.
Routine chit-chat. That's all it was. 130 times.
Okay.
You know, that's how it works. They said in the text while she was driving to the hospital, quote, simply Scott's way of signaling to someone that you love that he was under duress. That's all.
Tell. Yeah.
Just letting you know I'm in a bad spot here.
Having a bad day, panicking.
He said the phone call was more of the same. Just checking in on each other. How's your day so far? My day so far is okay. And yeah.
How's your day? Well, my wife's dead. How's yours?
How's yours going? Your husband's still alive? Well, darn. Thought we had something. The defense team said the police never understood the difficulty out of getting out of the weight machine's grip. They had a state trooper in court. They said, sure, he could wriggle out from beneath 105 pounds, but he's someone who's used to working out with weights, so he would know how to do it. They said she wasn't as used to it, and maybe she was overtired or disoriented. Plus accidental asphyxiation isn't unheard of with these types of machines because there's a case in Iowa of a young boy who was doing the similar thing at home and suffocated under the bar, exact same way, happened last year. Mm-hmm. So, sure, that was an 8-year-old and this is a grown woman, but, same thing. They also said, the defense said, no DNA was taken either from the scene. No fingerprints. They didn't process shit. They said, what about that? Investigators also never tested the fluid found on the bench. And they said that was part of their ploy to make the investigation and the investigators, they're trying to make them look like they did like shit here. Yeah. They said, DNA, it probably should have been taken, but the prosecutor said even if Scott's DNA had been found, it wouldn't mean shit because they lived in the home and he also used the equipment. So, sure. But the defense is also that could have been someone else did that to her, and you don't have their DNA or fingerprints because you never checked for it. You said that it's him that did it and no one else, and so we're not checking anything. And he said there could have been somebody that broke in and did this.
That's fun for the defense that they can just wildly speculate.
Well, they have to.
They have to. That's their job. But it's fun.
It is. They said there was never an argument in which it was suggested that anyone else was to blame for her death, though. And the defense is like, why not? Maybe there should be.
Sure.
Maybe if the cops did their job, we would look at other people. So they said basically it was either Scott did it by allowing the bar to fall down on her and then pushing it down, crushing her airway, or it was an accident. That's what the prosecution says. One of the two. There is no third option. They do the bench demonstration where they have a cop show and there's pictures of him doing it. That Lisa should have been able to wriggle out from under the bars given that she was in good health. And, they said the way that it thumped down and it didn't break her bone. Right. So if it did fall, she would have been under it.
Still mobile. Yeah.
Yeah. So he said that they were showing the guy and he said, you just have to kind of expand this and move under here. Yep. And they said, then you're out of trouble. And he said, yeah, that's all. They said, or she could have used her shoulder to shimmy out to the side, or you could wriggle out from under there the other way. They said, but if someone had been struggling, if she had been struggling and someone had been sitting on her chest and preventing her from re-racking the bar, then you're in a bad way.
Yeah.
He said, then it'll come down bad. Now, Dylan testifies here.
Oh, boy.
Let's get Dylan McCoy on the stand here.
Yeah.
They had to put out an extra box just for his penis, an extra juror box, or an extra witness box.
He wore a duster like a cowboy, and so did his penis.
He came in, two dusters. Well, 2 big 10-gallon hats he had, one on each head.
You betcha.
So he said he told the jurors he only saw his mother use the weight bench once in his lifetime. Mm-hmm. He said that, during all of this, he said that, he freaked out when he found his mother was deceased with a weight bar. He said his mother worked out on the treadmill or the step machine. Mm-hmm. She used 5-pound dumbbells, all the stuff we talked about. He said the only time she'd use the bench press machine was when Scott was there to assist her. I've never seen her by herself in the basement bench pressing.
Yeah, she's just alone at home, just getting it going.
Fucking screaming. I'm getting it. Fuck.
Just throwing weights around.
He said also when Scott told him that his mother accidentally died on a weight machine, he assumed it was the treadmill. He thought she must have lost her footing and fell and smacked her head or something.
He said a lot of chive videos like that.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. So he said he probably thought it was that. He said, I thought it was a treadmill, but no. And then, So police had interviewed him 3 times after his mom's death, and during at least one occasion, he was 17 and being interviewed without the presence of an adult. So he told police that he had seen his mother use the bench press machine, but she didn't use it as often as 2 or 3 times a week. He told police that he thought that Scott regretted having the affair, and they asked Dylan what your opinion would be about Scott if he knew that Scott had sent or received 130 text messages to and from Stacy the day your mother died. And he said, that would definitely change it. That's sickening to know that many were sent and received on that day.
So he found out that way. Oh, yes. Boy.
So, because otherwise that was all evidence and discovery. So Dylan, after he's done testifying, his family convinces him not to stick around for the end of the trial and to go back to school because he's in college at this point. Yeah. Yeah. So the sister said he returned to Virginia Tech after testifying. His family convinces him not to stick around for the end of the trial and to go back to school because he's in college at this point. So the sister said he returned to Virginia Tech after testifying. His family convinces him not to stick around for the end of the trial and to go back to school because he's in college at this point. So And he said it was really hard. She said it was really hard for him to leave, but we had talked about it for months, and that's what we decided. That's what his mother would have wanted him to do, to go back to school and concentrate on school.
Yeah.
So they bring out old Stacy Henderson here.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
Oh, Stacy's like, thanks a lot. My life is fucked. Now, she is granted immunity for her testimony, and you might go, well, why the fuck would she need immunity? Was she involved in this? No, but when the cops first talked to her, she certainly didn't tell them all the truth about anything in a deposition. So she is, she's got problems. She signed something, a false statement. So they got her dead to rights. Now she has to testify.
Have to.
Yep. So they said, during this time, were you in love with Scott? And she said, yes. Did you tell him that? Yes. Did he tell you that? Yes. So they're in love with each other. Her husband's probably in the court. Like this,
oh my!
Like if he gets found innocent, I'm going to shoot him in the front steps of the courthouse. So,
and if he goes away, I'm going to have to take out all of that on her. So
yeah. Oh Jesus, it's going to be awful. So then they bring in forensic pathologist, Dr. Scott Wagner, saying the bruising on her body was consistent with a barbell on her neck, but the injuries were not consistent with a weight falling on her throat. Yeah. The weight would have fallen on her throat. Her larynx and everything else would have been crushed, and it wasn't. And, so that's that. Now, the defense brings their own doctor in, though.
Really?
Yeah, he said, no, this is crazy. He said the bruises weren't caused by someone straddling Lisa when she died, but rather bruises that occur naturally when blood cools after death.
Is that right?
He said that's all it was. He said some discoloration, they can easily be mistaken for that, but they're actually caused by a different thing.
And I was paid by them to say that, so that's what I'm saying.
They're paying me, yeah. So, he said if someone had pressed the bar onto her throat, he would have expected to see more significant damage to the neck as well. So looks like it was just an accident. Okay, moving on. Prosecution during closing arguments. He did it's the exact same speech they gave the Scott Peterson jury. Like it's almost like he watched the Scott Peterson trial and then was like, that's the way to do it. He said, this case is a puzzle. Remember them saying that exactly? Yeah. He said, there are pieces you have to put together because it's a circumstantial case. He said the jurors could believe Patterson's version of the story, that he came home from work, found his wife unconscious under the weight bench and blah, 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 blah. And, but Patterson's version would mean that Lisa, who had issues with her neck, would have been bench pressing unsupervised, even though her family and friends said she didn't bench press. Right. Said that the affair with Stacy Henderson, the $450,000 life insurance policy, and Patterson's pending divorce are all pretty good motives for killing your wife.
Yeah.
If you want to divorce her, you don't want to give up your business or your house, you're fucking a blonde. Yeah.
And you want to get paid for this.
And you want to get paid. I wonder why. So he said by killing his wife, he wouldn't have to worry about splitting assets, including his home and business with her during a divorce. The prosecutor said he had the motive, he had the opportunity, and he also reminded the jurors all the lies Scott told the police. He said that he told police that he had an affair with Stacy, but the relationship had ended. Obviously, that wasn't true. He said he's so obsessed with this girl, he wants to be with her.
Yeah, the man was present when she died.
For sure.
100% present.
Yeah, because he was home by then.
All reasons not to want to be here.
For her to not want to be alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for him to not want her alive.
Tell me how he didn't do it.
He said his statements don't jive with his own home security system. Well, yeah, tell me how Scott Peterson didn't do it when he told the cops he went fishing in the exact same fucking spot they found the body. Tell me that. Tell me that. And don't say, oh, people saw that on the news and then went out and planted a 2-week-old body out there. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. That is insanity.
That's insane. Somebody held on to a dead body for 2 weeks because she was dead for 2 weeks or
waiting
more.
To see where Scott was so they could frame him.
Right.
No, they would have killed her and got rid of her quickly. Yeah. That would have been it. And if they got rid of her at the same place, then Scott would have waved to the people as they dumped her body in the fucking water. So there you go. And just like that, this prosecutor said his statements don't jive with his own home security system. Why lie if this was an accident? Why lie? That's the thing. He said also the 911 call he said it makes it all about him. He said he hardly even mentions his wife. Everything's about him. He knew she was dead by then because he killed her. That's why he knew she was dead and not to do CPR. Yeah. He said during interviews with the police, he continues to talk about himself. When asked about Lisa's neck issues, he begins talking about his medical issues. Right. He starts saying, well, my back's fucked up and blah, 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 blah. He said, yes, this case requires jurors to speculate as to what happened July 2nd, 2009, because they're the only two to know what occurred, Scott and Lisa isn't here to tell anybody. Scott made sure of that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He said he altered the crime scene. He said, so now the police are left to theorize how she came to die on this bench with the bar across her neck. It has to be speculative because he made it that way.
Right. And he had to take that bar off of her. There was so much he had to do.
He had to do all of it. So
he knew exactly when she died. So why is he lying? You know what I mean?
Why you lying? Why'd you say he came home at 11:30 when you were home at 8:32? That's a big difference.
You changed so many times.
You changed clothes. So yeah. So the jurors here, or the defense closing, talking to the jurors, are talking about a toxicology report. Right. That's their main thing. They're talking about what they call a dangerous cocktail of drugs in her system, particularly a diet drug that produces side effects, sometimes like fainting spells and irregular heartbeats. Okay. So they said Lisa had 3 times the therapeutic amount of that drug in her system. She's already exerting herself, heart pounding. That could tip her over the edge. And at that point, the bar comes down on her neck. It could take anywhere from just a few seconds at that point for unconsciousness to occur. And then it'll keep pressing, and then she's dead.
That's a solid argument. But
it's not
still
bad.
Comes back to the doctor saying it didn't fall on her.
It didn't fall, but they're saying it could have been close, and then she just passed out. And then they said, yes, Scott lied to the police about not coming home at 11:30. Yeah. I don't know how you skill this one into fucking this. He's innocent.
How you spend 3-hour window.
Wow. His rationale, said the defense, was that Scott knew right away that husbands with dead wives always look suspicious. So he was just panicking. They said he panicked and made the bad choice of lying about the timeline. He said, but yeah, call him a liar, but don't you dare call him a killer. That's basically that.
I mean, if you know that right out of the gate, boy, you better just give all information that you've got that helps you. You know what I mean?
Please.
Tell them everything about you because, look, this is going to look bad, but I would never want my wife killed.
No.
I don't want her to die ever. This is awful.
No. You start doing fucking, when I was 8 and I did this and then I stole a thing from there, you start doing when Chunkin from Goonies starts telling everything he did.
I came home at 8:30, but I was upstairs all day long. Everything.
Yeah, just all the time. So he said a lot of people look at this case and they ask themselves the question they might have asked Richard Nixon. Why didn't you destroy the tapes? That's how they caught Nixon, because he had the tapes. Well, maybe the answer is that if you haven't done anything wrong, you don't have any concern or fear about what's going to be on the tapes. And by the way, when you think that Lisa wouldn't have been able to don't you think that Lisa would have been able to put some scratches or marks on Scott? There were none. No defensive wounds. But if she's on a bench and he sat with her arms pinned down, what's she going to do?
Worse off, if he's sat with his hands on that bar, I'm not scratching him. I'm trying to get that fucking bar off of me.
Yeah, off your throat. You got your hands wrapped around it. So they said there were none. And they said, yep, the defense attorney said that he lied to police about what time he came home in the affair because he thought telling the truth would make him look bad. He didn't want to explain to police why he didn't find his wife before 11:45 a.m. if he'd been home for 3 hours. So he said that would have been bad, obviously here. He also goes on to say that Scott and his wife were reconciling at the time of their death, and Lisa told her boss she wanted the marriage to work. We got a witness that said that. He said Lisa's death is an accident that a toxic level of phentermine, a weight loss pill found in her system, contributed to, and said that Scott was not aware of the life insurance policy and wasn't afraid. Meanwhile, he called the next day. He knew. And
one thing he wasn't aware of is that he wasn't getting paid.
Yes, he was aware of that. And he wasn't afraid. He wasn't aware of that. He wasn't afraid of losing his business during a divorce because they said he's self-employed. He said you don't lose your business. You are your business.
Okay.
Yeah. So he said people react differently in tragic events, and the way Scott acted when he found out his wife was dead wasn't unusual.
Okay.
He said that action on the part of Scott, what it demonstrates is a reaction to an event, not a deliberation. They said that the state's case relies on speculation. He says we have to have a theory. We have to have speculation because we don't have the facts.
Okay.
Boom. He's like, I think we nailed it right there. So jury deliberates for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Now, I'll give more detail about this later, but the machine, the weight machine, is a big part of this. It was brought in on a truck. It was too large to put in the small jury room, so it remained in the courtroom throughout the trial. During jury deliberations, jurors came into the courtroom when no one else was there and examined the machine and did some other stuff that we'll talk about. Boy. The verdict comes in, 8 hours of deliberation. Scott is found guilty of murder.
Yeah.
Guilty. After that, before sentencing, juror number 8 talks to the media. That's Don Wampler is his name.
Yeah, Wampler. I remember him.
Wampler. He spent 11 days. He was juror number 8, and he said that he's the only member of the jury to speak publicly about the trial. He said the group as a whole, after the verdict was read and before it was, before they were dismissed from the jury room, they vowed not to speak publicly on the matter.
Oh.
But he said he doesn't care. He said, after talks with my mother and my wife, I decided to talk. I said, fuck those people. He said that his mom and wife urged him to speak out to let others know what was going through the mind of at least one juror. He said, I'm not trying to be famous. He said, I'm not trying to be, hey, look at me, look at me. I was just a juror. I'm trying to let everyone know what happened. He said when he was called in for jury duty, he was unaware that it could be the Patterson trial that he'd be involved with because he'd heard about it. Yeah. He said a questionnaire he received prior to being called in, the process of picking a jury here, they asked if he had ever been personally involved in a civil trial. So I just assumed it was a civil trial.
Oh.
He said, but when he arrived at the whole thing here for the jury, he had to fill out another questionnaire, and this one asked about the knowledge of the Patterson case. Mm-hmm. He said, I looked to my left, and that guy is writing a novel, and I looked to my right, and that guy's writing a novel about the thing. So I wrote something about Patterson being from LaFontaine and supposedly killing his wife. I thought, I'm in big trouble today. So people are writing all the shit they knew. He's like, I don't know, I know a little bit. So they said jurors were given a large, thick binder filled with a variety of information that would be discussed during the trial. He said it was full of stuff from the 911 call to phone records to the case in Iowa of the little boy getting crushed there, to Lisa's life insurance policy, to the medical report. He said that he was impressed with the testimony of both Wagner, the medical examiner, and Gregory Davis, a state medical examiner. He said both pathologists were very interesting. And, of course, we didn't know Stacy Henderson was coming. We didn't know any of the witnesses beforehand. We walked in that day, and it was wall-to-wall people, he said. We were like, what's going on? Because that was the day Stacy was there. Like, now it's getting good.
Here we go. Yeah.
Here we go. Where's her husband? Everyone just wants to show up to see if he's going to show up, probably. Right. He said that a timeline prepared by the prosecution on the day Lisa died was one of the major factors convincing him to vote guilty. He said in that timeline, Patterson was unaccounted for a period of time. He got text messages from Stacy and never responded. He got phone calls and never responded. Any other time, as you looked at his phone records, if she called or texted, he responded right away. So in that hour or so in there, it was the window, in my personal opinion, that he murdered Lisa.
Wow.
An initial vote was taken, and it was 7-5 jurors were split on guilty. Yeah. He said, we discussed it. Either 5 had to vote guilty or 7 had to vote not guilty, but we all had to agree. Right. He said the discussions were civil. No one raised their voices or shouted. Not my fucking problem. I don't care. I'm not related to any of these people, so fuck it. Jurors reviewed much of the evidence, including interviews with Patterson by the sheriff's department. They also inspected the weight machine that she died. And that's when they came into the court unsupervised and did this here. Mm-hmm. He said that the prosecution, he said, quote, we experimented. Not supposed to do that, by the way, as a juror. That's not what jurors do. We put one of our smaller jurors on the weight bench and she could get out from under the weight bar. Okay. You can't do scientific experiments on the jury. No, is she the exact height and weight of Lisa?
Good point. Yeah.
Then otherwise it's you know what I mean? That's why they're not supposed to do their own shit. He said the juror wasn't even strong enough to pick the barbell out of the hooks, so we had to set it on the weight for her, but she could get out of the weight bench. We did it 2 times. Then we did it again with another lady juror, sitting on her. Mm-hmm. And she kind of held her hands on the weight bar. She couldn't get out.
Oh my.
So someone sat on you and held your hands on the weight bar and pushed it in. You were fucked. He said that, combined with the timeline, convinced him of the guilt. He said, I went from that 65% sure to that 80 to 90% sure, and that's how Lisa died. He said he was never 100% sure of the guilt, but he also said that the jurors wouldn't likely be 100%. It's reasonable doubt, not beyond all doubt.
Yeah.
He said Mr. Hartley, that's the prosecutor, said there's 0%, 50%, and 100%. He said the only way you could be 100% sure is if you put a video camera on top of the weight bench and saw Scott Peterson kill Lisa or saw the weight bar on her neck. Those are the only ways you could be 100%. But if you're past 50%, then you have to vote him guilty. I don't believe that, by the way. That's a civil trial. Civil trial has just a preponderance of the evidence.
You should have to be so certain.
I'm going to say, to me, reasonable doubt, and it's not beyond all doubt, reasonable doubt to me is 76% and above.
Yeah.
It's got to be 76% and above. There's got to be more than 3/4 sure, I feel like, before you can. It's got to be a fucking passing social studies grade before you can take that shit seriously.
That's 61, James, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. And I might go to myself more in the 80 to 85% range of what I'd want it to be for me personally.
I think I might want it to be as much as if I were on the fucking being tried on something.
But that's not the law, though. That's not the law. And that's how the judge instructs you, too. And if you say that in the fucking jury room, they're like, this juror is not following jury instructions. Yeah. So they said, he said, I was pretty sure that's how it happened. A second vote after the experiment made it 10-2 guilty.
Oh.
Still 2 people holding out. After more discussions and evidence review, a third vote brought the unanimous 12-0. The jury foreman was particularly careful to make sure everyone agreed with the verdict. He said he took the verdict form out of the folder, and he said, by then your heart is racing a little bit. And he said, when I sign this and date it, this is okay, right? Or this is it, right? And we were like, okay. And he checked the guilty box and signed the form. He said mentally it was so exhausting. He said he had trouble sleeping. He said, I couldn't sleep the day before, but then it started to get a little easier to sleep. But you have to, but you have your days. Me being a mama's boy, when Dylan was on the stand, I definitely didn't sleep that night. The least amount of sleep I had was Monday night. He said when the defense rested Monday, the judge said tomorrow we'll release the jury to deliberate, and that night I didn't sleep. Before sentencing, Scott motions for a mistrial.
Yeah.
He asserting the jury engaged in misconduct because they only know about this from this coming out in the newspaper.
Yeah.
The defense attorney read this fucking juror's newspaper article and said, they're not allowed to fucking perform experiments, and then motioned for a mistrial, saying you're not allowed to do that, which I always thought you weren't allowed to. They said that the attorneys, Peterson and his attorneys, were not present during the experiment when it was conducted in the courtroom, and that Peterson had a right to be present when the jury interpreted the evidence. After the experiment, at least 3 of the jurors changed their verdict from not guilty to guilty, according to court documents here. The defense cited another reason for the motion for the mistrial. The Chronic Tribune and Wabash Plain Dealer published an article in which juror number 8 discussed his experience. In the article, he talked about the different, we experimented shit. So they're like, that's crazy. The court denies his motion for mistrial.
Really?
And sends him off to be sentenced. Okay. Sentencing comes around here, and I guess there's an enhanced factor on the sentencing, too. They find him guilty, obviously, and say, you, sir, by the way, here, called him a scumbag, too. The judge said, he said, he said, you are a human disaster, leaving death and destruction in your wake. You, sir, may fuck off. 60 years in prison. Human disaster. The earliest he can be released is 2039.
Oh, wee.
So he's got another 15 years no matter what in that joint. He was sent to the Indiana State Prison in Michigan City, which if it's a prison that's in a city that's named after a different state than you're in, that's a bad prison. That's a bad place.
That's the city that they care the least about.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. I don't know, fucking Michigan City, whatever.
We want to give this city away.
Yeah, we don't want it. Maybe Michigan wants it. So the family reaction here, her sister said that Dylan was greatly relieved to hear about the jury's decision. She said he was currently getting ready to go to the Sugar Bowl with the Virginia Tech team. Not as a player. No, not as a player.
He's just going to have fun.
He's very, very excited because he wants to be a sports agent someday.
Oh.
So he's on the phone that's cool. Yeah, right on, bro. All right. No, guys, I'll be there in a second. Nah, man, tell her to keep her tits out. Yeah, she's awesome. Right on. Fucking peace out. And then he hangs up the phone. He's like, woo. So, yeah, that's fucking interesting. Wants to be a sports agent. She said that she was told that there would be further appeals, but the family was grateful to overcome this hurdle, and she hoped everyone would keep Lisa's memory alive. She said the family was grateful for the juror's decision and for the prosecutor, but they said nothing's going to bring back Lisa. Lisa's father said that it's good to get closure. He said maybe this will help us get answers down the road and move on with our lives. He said there was a lot of pressure on the family as they waited for the verdict to be read, and it was just terrible waiting to see what was going to happen. I bet. That's stressful. Stacey Henderson pleads guilty.
To?
She is going to plead guilty of, what is this? False informing, I believe is the way to say it here. A Class D felony of perjury after an investigator said she lied during a deposition she gave during the investigation. So during her pretrial conference there, false informing, a Class D misdemeanor. Class B misdemeanor is what she pled guilty to, though, as opposed to perjury, which is much worse. Here, she admitted to the court giving false information during her deposition. We don't know exactly what that is, but the Henderson's attorney said, "We believe this is the fairest way to resolve this, to plead. We never believed she committed perjury. The statement she made was false, but that's not perjury by law." He said she made one false statement and quickly retracted the statement, and she told the truth to the investigators after that. But they said, tough shit. Either way here, she is going to be ordered to serve 60 days of home detention.
Really?
1 year of probation and a 180-day prison term. So that's quite a bit.
That's pretty steep, yeah.
That's pretty steep. The prosecution agreed to drop the criminal perjury accusation. I feel like she got a little too much for someone who had nothing to do with the murder.
Yeah, that tells me she knew a lot more than she's telling us.
No shit. 2012 here, or I'm sorry, 2012. Dateline is, 2011. It's February 25th, 2011. Dateline airs an episode on them. So it's like right after this whole thing. Yeah. And they said the Dateline episode aired, and the family said that it was fine, but they said that they thought they wished there was more to it. They wish they did like a deep dive like us, probably. But and they even had family and everything else. But they said after watching the episode the first time, her dad said that he wished Dateline had been able to include more details in the show, but he realizes they only had an hour to tell the whole story here. Lisa's sister
and they got commercials and shit.
And it's 41 minutes. Yeah. She agreed and wished the producers would have been able to include the details, but she thinks it turned out well. She said, I think they got the main points across. She said it showed video footage of her sister so the public can get an idea of what Lisa was like when she was alive. She said, I think that was probably the most important thing. People got to see who she was. She wasn't just a picture or someone to be written about. She said at the end of the show, in the end, the show told her story, and her friend said the same thing. Leah said, I always thought things like this happened to someone else. I hope other people learn from the show that things aren't always what they seem.
Yeah, that's true. We know.
That's true. That's why we do this show. It's Small Town Murder right there. So now I have found some very funny comments, by the way, in different fucking message boards and shit about this case. Okay. Here is one of them. This is, I don't remember where this was from. It doesn't matter. They said, anyone following this? This is from August 8th, 2010. Mm-hmm. He said, anybody following this? It has gotten national attention, and Dateline has interviewed his deceased family's wife. Seems like a lot of witnesses have lied on the stand. Why would someone risk going to jail for doing that? And someone fucking responds, I used to live with the guy. He's an idiot. Dateline's running the story on Friday, 225. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. Listen, I know him. He's a fucking idiot. Just between me and you.
He claimed he looks like Jean Claude Van Damme, for Christ's sake.
Come on.
He's an idiot.
I lived with him back in the Van Damme days. Next up, from truecrimediscussions.blogspot.com. Okay.
Oh my Blogspot. That's like
yeah.
Anybody can make that.
It's true. Now, the person who makes these about the true crime stories, they do a pretty good job of a succinct storytell. I mean, there's not all the details, but just one, like, whatever. Yeah. But the comments are gold a lot of times on here.
Yeah.
And this is from February 22nd, 2020, okay?
Wow.
So,
just
well
recently.
past.
Yeah.
Quote, he's innocent with 5 exclamation points. This is what I mean. You get, there's Scott Peterson and Scott Patterson people. They should just meet each other, and Peterson and Patterson. She could have committed suicide. 3 exclamation points. Suicide now.
Okay.
She brought it. Has anyone ever used that as a way to commit suicide?
I don't think that's true. I don't think it has.
Even Chris Benoit used the weight bench in a different way to commit suicide. Not this way. So she then goes on to say, dead arm. Ask any avid athletic trainer about dead arm. It's where your arm gives out and you won't budge. Many scenarios can't be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Shitty job by the lawyers.
Wow.
What?
You'd have to.
Either way, it didn't crush her throat. So when it fell on her, she would have said, oh, fuck, I got to get out of here.
Yeah. And she would have
I'm going to roll this way or that way, or do what an adult human does to preserve life. People have chewed their fucking arms off to get out of shit. Are you kidding? Literally chewed their arm off. She can't roll to the left. What are you kidding me?
Also, at the time that it would have happened, she would have known, because she didn't work out for 3 fucking hours.
No.
You're not bench pressing for 3 fucking.
Just
you know that he's there. You'd be screaming, Scott, help, and he would help.
And he would probably help. So someone responds to that. I doubt it, seeing as he tried to hire someone to kill her before this happened.
And there's that too, yeah.
There's that too. And then someone else does this. Are you serious? The bench had a mechanism to keep it from falling on her. But that wasn't in place.
It was not in place, right.
He is guilty. He lied about his timeline, tried to get rid of surveillance evidence. She's the only one completely innocent in all of this. Yeah. And now to all of this, somebody else replies, and this is my favorite thing ever because it's fucking long. And we don't know if this is true or not, but I believe these comments because it makes it more fun. This is from Anonymous. Quote, I knew Scott, Lisa, and Dylan personally. Trust me, he killed her. He was a monster long before he actually killed her. He lived by lying, cheating, and conning his way through most of his life. Wow. He was a narcissist, devoid of empathy, and just a general pig. With all the crimes he has committed throughout his life, it took him murdering Lisa before they finally convicted and imprisoned him. Just a hair of his past was covered in the media. If more had been investigated or reported on, it's doubtful anyone would consider him innocent of murder. We missed you, Lisa, and I pray Dylan has found happiness and peace after this tragedy, spelled with an I. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Michelle says, my only question is, how did he get her to lay on the bench without a struggle and fight from her? Was she laying on the bench that she never uses and he just took his opportunity? Just seems strange. It was never brought up how he would have gotten her to peacefully lay on the bench so he could then straddle her and bring the bar down. Any thoughts? Now, someone responds, I think he strangled her and he put her on the bench and staged it.
That's possible.
That's possible, but it would have had wraparound.
Right, yeah.
Then the marks would have gone. You can't, how do you know what I mean? Yeah. That would have been very hard.
But he wouldn't put her, they didn't see her on the bench, so he wouldn't have staged it. No, that couldn't have been happened. That's not what happened. No. He didn't stage anything because he was taking her to the hospital. They never saw her on the bench, so it's not
That's
staged.
The thing.
Yeah.
The only thing is they had some of her sweater oil they thought was on the bench bar. But other than that, it could have happened anywhere.
Sure, yeah.
He could have just put some of her, they didn't even check. That could have been his DNA. We have no idea because they didn't check. Now, he appeals this. We'll go through this very quickly. Yeah. First, on the admission of surveillance equipment and the surveillance video. And, they said that he argues the trial court violated his federal and state constitutional protections against illegal search and seizure by admitting this. Uh-huh. No, they didn't. They said, because he tries to go for a Fourth Amendment thing, which is a search warrant deal. Fourth Amendment prohibition on unreasonable searches and seizures, as well as Indiana constitutional statutory law. They said, in deciding whether to issue a search warrant, the task of issuing magistrate is simply to make practical, common sense decision whether, given all the circumstances set forth in the affidavit, there's a fair probability that contraband or evidence will be found in that particular place. So they said that was a fine thing. He argues that the probable cause affidavit was invalid because it was based on stale information, because they put stuff he said about, I'm not giving her half my business and all that stuff. Yeah. He called all that stale. If it wasn't that weak, it was stale, basically.
Huh.
Even including the asking someone in 2001 to kill his wife. Okay. Yeah, all that shit. The internet tracking software stuff by Leah Frazier and the affair, that's all stale, they said, even though it was 7 months before the murder. Yeah. So that's how that goes. They also conclude here that they're trying to find... they're talking about his affidavit a lot. They're really trying to pick this affidavit apart a lot. Search and seizure, they said that the probable cause affidavit doesn't support that, but they said it actually does. It established a substantial basis for the issuance of a search warrant and the admission of the surveillance system. And then the big one, jurors played with the fucking machine. They experimented. Mm-hmm. They said that he says that he should have been given notice and opportunity to be present for this. They said in this case, they said, I would tell you with respect to the question you had about the equipment, this equipment's going to stay up and assemble throughout the duration of the trial. So if during deliberations you feel you want to see it, I'll clear the courtroom and you'll be the only ones in here and you can check it out as you desire. Or just like any other evidence. Because normally they can ask for any evidence that'll be brought to them in the jury room.
Right.
But experiments, they usually don't do your own, because that's investigative and you don't do that as a juror. Right. So that's a really gray area, like fucking super gray, like gray with an E, not even with an A, an English gray.
Like a T.
Like a T. So they said that in response, he contends that he had no objection to allowing the jurors to examine the machine during deliberations, but he asserts that he should have been given notice and an opportunity to be present for an examination like that. They said, you're not allowed to be in the jury room while they examine anything else. Why the fuck should you be allowed to examine it? Okay. Examine this here. They said the state assembled it in the courtroom. It was in there. Who gives a shit? They also say during the cross-examination of Dr. Greg Davis, the prosecutor had a detective lie on the bench and he straddled the detective while questioning Davis. That's a funny sight, by the way, watching two grown professional men straddle another man on a weight bench while he tries to lift it off. That'll make your fucking week if you see it. It's amazing. It's so fun.
I can see it in my head. It looks a smidge homoerotic.
Oh, it is all, not a smidge. It is 100% homoerotic. It looks like a gay porn. Like he walked in, he was like, "How much you bench there, sexy?" And then he straddled him, and he's about to like take his cock out and start jerking him.
I'm gonna fuck you, missionary style.
Oh, baby. So yeah. Also, sufficiency of evidence. Mm-hmm. He says not enough evidence, all circumstantial, just like Scott Peterson. Yeah. And they say nope, affirmed, keep fucking on. Okay. Keep on fucking on, homie. So he remains in Indiana State Prison. His DOC number is 218-261 if you want to take a look for him. Jean Claude Van Damme looking motherfucker. Here he is.
He doesn't look any fucking thing like him. What an asshole.
No, come on. No, he doesn't. And 2039, you might see Scott out on the streets again. And that, everybody, is Marion.
Practices Dutch accent. And
that's it.
Jean Claude's long been gone. Nobody cares about him. He can pretend to be him.
He could say he is. That's what I was going to say. He could just show up and go, I am Jean Claude Van Damme. They go, oh, shit, for real? You're in double team, right on.
Splits between semis recently on a Super Bowl commercial. That's cool.
Awesome. Look at you, man. So there you go. There is LaFontaine and Marion, Indiana. If you like that episode, you should tell everyone about it. Don't just tell us about it. You can, but tell the world about it. Get on whatever app you're listening on. Give us 5 stars. It helps drive up the ratings and all that so much. It's really, really does help the funky algorithm that they have over there. Thank you for doing that. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Tickets for live shows, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Be a part of Minneapolis. September 20th at the State Theater, our biggest show of all time. It will be the biggest Shut Up and Give Me Murder ever. We can't wait. Also, Milwaukee, the next night, it was sold out, but we released our comps and our holds. So there's a couple dozen tickets out there to snatch up that are together. So grab those, have that, shutupandgivememurder.com. And while you're at that website, that wonderful, wonderful site, Get your tickets for the Halloween virtual live show.
Great.
Can't wait, just like a regular live show, but in your living room or wherever the fuck you want to watch it. You can watch it for a whole week after the show is originally done. We're dressing up in costumes. We're going to have a crazy murder story. Fuck, we can't wait for it. So that's going to be so much fun.
You don't know.
We don't know. This might be Stacey Henderson and Scott Peterson. We don't know. That's a double costume because it's like, am I Scott Peterson, or am I Jean Claude Van Damme? Which fucking one am I? You know what I'm saying? Which one am I?
Stacey Henderson or some other dirty girl that just loves to fuck?
Or some other bleach blonde cheating wife. I don't know. So there you go. Yeah, definitely hang out with us and come to the website and do all that and check out the virtual live show because it's going to be real exciting.
But if you love every show we make and you just don't have enough.
Yeah, I know what you need. You need Patreon, baby. That's right. You listen to Your Stupid Opinions, Crime and Sports, your Small Town Murder Express. Patreon.com/Crime and Sports is where you need to be. Hundreds of back episodes right away upon subscription. Anyone $5 a month or above, a mere cup of coffee, will get you hundreds of episodes, new ones every other week. And if you've been waiting for a good week to sign up, I think this might be the week for you. For Crime and Sports, we're going to talk about theme park disasters again. We do it quarterly because we had to, because people were like, hey, more of that, please.
Yeah.
So, and then for Small Town Murder, the king of all the Patreons, really. The prisoner dating game is back, everybody. That's right. It's been a long time. It's been like 10 months since we've had one, or 8 months or something. So can't wait to do that. We're going to line Jimmie up with 4 young ladies, 4 young men. The only thing they have in common is they are all incarcerated for violent felonies. He's going to pick one based just on their dating profile. Then we get to find out what they did and how fucked he is. So that said, do that. Patreon.com/Crime in Sports. And you get a shout out.
Yes.
When the fuck does that happen?
Right now.
Right motherfucking now. Jimmie, hit me with the names of the most wonderful people in the goddamn world who would never straddle us on a weight bench.
This week's executive producers are Carol Braun, who did a road trip with cross-country with us. You didn't know, but you went, James. That was fantastic.
Well, shit.
Thank you, Carol.
We had fun, and thank you for stopping at McDonald's for me. I need a Big Mac
was
sometimes.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Nikki Weed, happy birthday. Ape Man says so.
Happy birthday.
He adores you. Joy Winters, I'll tell you more about that later. Thank you, Joy. You're terrific.
Make sure to say that because it didn't sound like it. It sounded like, oh, boy, this crazy bitch anyway.
Not her.
No, she's not.
Jagger Rimini, thank you so much, Jagger. And Franny and Oz, you're the best. I miss you so much. Other producers this week are Janice Hill, Dubrovko, Zaha for Donna. Oh, that's a donation for Donna. I don't know how to say Dubrovko's name, and I apologize about it. Other producers continuing are Aaron Donegan, Nicholas Hansen, Michelle with no last name, Jessica Emiljajankic, Matt Duquette, Gwen Harrison, Margaret Richardson, Michaela Rurek. Is it Michaela? It is Michaela. Trier of Pods, Emery Delphi, Anthony Gallmeyer, maybe. Ruth Ann Marcell, wrestling fan. Dylan Ellis. You should be happy this week, sir. Or ma'am. Who the fuck knows?
We don't know. Who knows?
Dylan Pellis, William Reed, Keeley with no last name, Andy Stebbins, Katie Lynn Moore, Luna Mist, Candace Quinn, Suzanne B, Debbie with no last name, Christina Balliard, Braden Jenkins, Sydney Wilhite, KC with no last name, Tom with no last name, Jenny Jones, probably not that one, but I wish.
Maybe.
What a show. God damn, it was a train wreck, and I loved every horrible minute.
She was a decent comic in the 80s.
Yeah? And she had that weird guy on the show that fucked everybody. I forget his name.
She had the guy who murdered somebody, too, on the show.
Yeah, there was a guy that was on several episodes, and they dressed him as somebody else and gave him a different name, and he fucked people all the time. Sydney Hollendeck, Kara Scott, Adam McCarthy, John McEllouf. Oh, boy. Evolved Squid, Shanna Johnson, Lindsay with no last name, Michelle Shump, Ann Warner Smith, Cecilia Ashbridge, Bad Wolf, Terry Kincaid, Martin Behrens, Chris Bedmore, Carmel with no last name, Christina Blunt Jones, Chris Stone, Perry Holbrook, Laurel with no last name, Josh Gallup, Carly Smith, Summer Colangelo Keating, Krista Bax, Ressa Wilder, Rebecca Benai, okay, Tara Kemp, Jessica Stewart, Dallas Johnson, Becca Kayla, Dice Up Games, Jamie with no last name, Katie Claridge, Big J Stutz, Courtney Johnson, Rocho.
Dallas Johnson sounds like a news reporter. We'll now take you to weatherman Dallas
Johnson in the field getting pummeled by this hurricane because he is the low man on the totem pole, and he'd probably be fired and shipped off to Tampa next year. Up to you,
We just hired
Dakota.
him, and he came in from Omaha. Come on.
Courtney Johnson Rochelle, Dakota Williamson, Ryan Whisman, Marianne with no last name, I and S, the letters I and S, Scully with no last name, Andrew with no last name, Sandy with no last name, Ellen Hendricks, Andrea with no last name, Fletcher Ames, Ashley Strigler, Maggie Gorchukitchiga, Gorzi Zorgika, Curtis Long, Mike Jackson, Rebecca Grapevine, Me Lifted and Gifted, Patrick Dieterding, Kristen Basden, Tina with no last name, Lexus Holting, Hugh Hoyting, Sam Farron, Nick Brooks, Leslie Loves to Laugh, Anastasia Wilson, Ryan Williams, Stephanie Moschella, Cheryl Murnane, Cheyenne Eckhoff, Laura Hanson, Anita Shea, Heather Webb, Mike Pepper, Carol Spike, Smitty with no last name, Jamie Robinson, Tori Citro, Jungle Fever, I don't like that, Dustin with no last name, Liz with no last name, not that I just don't like the words.
I get it.
Shit.
It's a movie.
Yeah, it's a thing.
song.
Howie Cordoza, Jesus, God, right, I wish I didn't. All right, Megan Seiler, Robin Jody Marrer. Oh, is that? No, it's not Marrer. That's somebody else. What was her name? Remember Laura Murrer. That was her.
Yes,
all right.
yes,
Maybe it's the same family. John Brian Hall the fourth. Mary Bome, Austin Jones, Doug Archie, Kay Bettendorf, Vev with no last name, Victoria Melson, Burr Town, Rick Giuliani. Ooh. Damn it, that's tough, man. Alex Eicher, Krista Bax. I said that. She donated both ways. Or two times. Thank you, Krista. Rebecca Cuspert. Nia Anthony, Mandy Ratner. Oh, hope you're not fucking family of that other. What's that? What was that guy's name? Ratner? That fucking monster? Yeah, what a piece of shit. All right, Michael Sly, Jordan Castaneda, Julie Nylander, Jessica with no last name, Majen Emilio. Holy fuck. Brittany. Nice. Brittany Ann Nicole, Kevin Danon, Rudy Levernchick. Riley with no last name, Gloria Santana Alvarez, Kat Gray, Tim with no last name, Alan with no last name, Diane Borg, Morgan Marie Chaffee, Daniel Porter, Whiskey Biz. Oh, that's Bryce. Thank you. Mark Rouse, Trevor Dunn, Jeremy Thompson, B. Sobasinski, C-Note, The Goat, Danielle with no last name, Cheyenne Clark, Jessica with no last name, Alexis from Texas, because if you say Alexis, Texas, that is a very different gal.
People are expecting anal at that point. You have to clarify.
Nathan Guess, and all of our patrons. You guys are amazing, especially at Alexis, Texas.
Thank you, everybody, so much.
Yeah.
From the bottom of our cold, dead hearts, we cannot thank you enough. Also, follow on social media.
Oh, yeah.
We are, it's all you can find it at Small Town Murder on Instagram. It's all over the place. You'll find it there. Do that. Follow us if you want to follow us on Instagram or wherever the fuck you want. Social media, Jimmie or myself, you can do that. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com has a drop-down menu. Take you to all the places you want to go. That said, thank you so much for listening. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment.
charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from Law and Crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus